Then, of course, you go on a spending spree, printing too many dollars, chasing too few goods. So I call that the triple whammy. A war on fossil fuel, too many dollars chasing too few goods, and policies that are making sure that we have even fewer goods.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is hitting Disney where it hurts. DeSantis said Tuesday the state legislature would take up a bill this week that would dismantle the special district that's allowed Disney to act as its own local government. You're listening to USA Radio News.
The MyPillow.com clearance continues. Roll and go anywhere. MyPillow's $9.99. The Body Pillow $39.99. And MyPillow bath sheets on sale 50% off. Use my promo code USA. Go to MyPillow.com/radio specials. You'll also get a free copy of Mike Lindell's book. MyPillow.com/radio specials. Use promo code USA or 1-800-951-8175.
The Pentagon is being pressed about its assistance strategy in Ukraine.
As Russia's unprovoked war in Ukraine continues, Pentagon Press Secretary John Kirby at a briefing Tuesday is asked why the United States is providing aid to Ukraine in slices rather than giving them everything they need that the United States could have provided months ago.
If we were to, let's just say that we follow the alternative logic, and at the very beginning of the invasion, we just said, here's everything in the shoebox. Let's just send it over there. Well, what if everything in the shoebox doesn't fit the fight that they're in? So you tailor each package based on the fight that they're in and what's going on at the time.
From the USA Radio News Phoenix Bureau, I'm Tim Berg.
As the U.S. Postal Service continues to roll out its 10-year Delivering for America plan, the latest change involves first-class package service. Starting May 1st, an estimated 17% of 3-day first-class packages will be shifted to 4-day service, while 15% of 4-day packages will be moved to 5-day service. 10 Republicans have filed petitions to run for Michigan's governor by Tuesday's deadline. It creates a huge field for a primary electorate that will decide who challenges Democrat Gretchen Whitmer. Michigan's primary election is August 2nd. For USA Radio News, I'm Katie Lewis.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems and their solutions. For example,
diesel particulate filter regeneration.
The DPF catches particulates left over from combustion. The DPF regeneration cycle cleans the filter with temperatures exceeding 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. A computer sensor triggers the DPF regen, which is often accompanied by a loss of power and fuel economy. The frequency of DPF regens are in correlation to the cleanliness of the fuel burn. Under heavy operation with the dirty burn, DPF regens can occur multiple times per day. Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme Fuel Additive promotes a more complete combustion, creating fewer emissions and therefore fewer DPF regens. Vehicles using Diesel Extreme experience 83% less DPF regens.
Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme is available nationwide at truck stops, fine farm and auto stores, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
All right, what do we see here? Plenty of room for you at 844-3388. Coming up later this morning when we wrap things up at 5 a.m. Eastern Time. Here on the Steve Sommers Overnight Night. Stick around with TNCRadio.live for hours of continued programming for drivers, by drivers. All right, coming up at 5 this morning, right after we wrap things up. Listen in, tune in for the Monday afternoon with the truck stuntman, Mike Ryan. That's the interview of Tom and Shelley on the Truckers Network radio show. That was supposed to air this past morning. Had a technical glitch, so not everybody was able to hear it. They've got that issue resolved, so tune in again this morning if you wanted to catch Mike Ryan. Then it's Angie and Larry Baum. Taillights. This week, Larry and Angie talk with a friend who's been a driver, a dispatcher, and a safety officer. And after taillights, don't miss Women Road Warriors. There is a secret to happiness, and you're going to learn it on the latest episode of Women Road Warriors. Carol Whitaker's the author of ridiculously happy. The secret to manifesting the life and body of your dreams. Oh boy. She helps people improve the quality of their lives, gets results by breaking the mold that entraps you. She's what they call a transformation expert, a holistic life coach. She's dedicated to empowering women around the world to make their dreams a reality. So there you go, coming up later this morning, all the programming, tncradio.live. Meanwhile, we get back to the calls. Pappy's on board. Thanks for hanging in there, Pappy. What's happening?
Mike. Steve, it must be in the air tonight, man. I got a vent. I hope you can bear with me here.
Lay it on us.
All right, man. Real quick on the border, I'll just make one statement on this. How many hundreds, at least, Steve, hundreds of terrorists are coming across the border?
Yes, right.
And we got the JTTF, run by the FBI, Joint Terrorism Task Force, investigating parents in school board meetings. That's who they're investigating, Steve. They don't, okay, enough of that. Let's get to the student loan, Steve. This burns my caboose. They want to forgive all these student loans. Steve, I think it was in the late 1970s. The government wants control of the schools, so what do? They develop the Department of Education, right?
Mm-hmm.
Steve, I got 3 older kids. Got divorced when they were younger, a couple in their teens, paying child support. Steve, I could not send these kids to college. Been single since the divorce, haven't remarried, been divorced for, 20-something years. Maybe closer to 30 now that I think about it. But, so it's just my income, and I'm telling you right now, popos don't make,
Right.
I mean, we can survive, Steve. I live paycheck to paycheck. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So I couldn't send my kids to school, right? So the colleges, Steve, once the government got involved in guaranteeing these tuitions, the colleges, what did they do, Steve? They jacked up their tuition rates. You remember that story many, many moons ago where the government, the Defense Department, is buying $30 East Wing hammers that you could buy for $30 hardware store for $400.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that?
Yep.
I'm going back a while, okay? Anytime the government gets involved in something, right, the prices go sky high. Exactly what happened with the colleges, Steve. When the government got involved in getting involved in these, granting these loans, the rates skyrocketed. Now they want to forgive these loans, Steve. The colleges still got their money.
Mm-hmm.
And who's paying for it?
The taxpayer.
We are. The taxpayers, Steve. So all your Harvard and Yale grads, right, that are going to get their graduation in and get it paid for by us, the people that are flipping hamburgers at McDonald's, Steve, are paying for them Yale and Harvard
education. Yep.
But the libs are in it for the little guy, right? Burns my butt. I'm going to push the envelope here, Steve. You need to hit the dump button, do it. Talking about China. Talking about Shanghai. Eagle said it, man. They're not stupid, Steve. They know these lockdowns don't work. So why are they shutting down Shanghai? Talked about 3 warfare, Steve, in the past with you many times. Economic warfare, cyber warfare, kinetic warfare. Kinetic warfare meaning conventional bullets, bombs, missiles. China is an economic warfare with the United States, Steve. They shut Shanghai down, not because of COVID. To shut the pipeline down, Steve. The supply line, meaning the pipeline. They're trying to crush us, Steve. Spoke to somebody else, buddy of mine. He kind of confirmed what I'm saying, that there's people inside the government that think this too. Steve, we're in a mess. They are using they're sacrificing their own people to do this to us, Steve. I mean, some of the largest ports are in Shanghai. Taiwan is getting nothing now. This is hurting Taiwan too when we talk about the microchips and whatnot. I want to get to Elon Musk. Why is Elon Musk getting involved with Twitter, Steve? I think he knows this is the last stand. This goes way beyond just the liberals here in the United States, Steve. When I talked about the New World Order, this new government order, when we talked about the World Economic Forum that was going on a few weeks ago, some of the language that was coming out of their mouth, right? Steve, they were flat out saying that we need a new world order, a new government world order, a one government ran world. And these crazy libtards want to run it. They want to be in charge. And the only way to do it is to take down the United States. Told you I was going to push the envelope here.
When you're talking about the whole supply chain, China saw firsthand when they did their original shutdowns the impact that it had, not just for us, but on the global supply chain issues. They had us in the proverbial stranglehold. And so I guess what you're saying right now is they know that what power they have right now. And maybe, because China and Russia are chum, buddy right now, looking to hold each other up. In a roundabout way, China's doing their part to hamper us, to send us, backwards. And we're not going to really see the impacts of the current shutdown for probably several weeks or several months. It takes time for all this to unfold. All these things, 500 ships, I reported last evening, are stuck off the coast of Shanghai. Now, those boats aren't going to be getting here. They would be here in a month or 2 months, but they're not going to be showing up here.
Steve, how long have you been talking about the boats sitting off of the shores of California?
LA and Long Beach.
This has been going on ever since COVID hit.
Yeah.
And now comes the double whammy. It doesn't affect Russia, Steve. Russia does not need Shanghai ports. Okay? They don't need the ports of Shanghai to get goods. The censorship, Steve, that is going on with Twitter and what these Marxist leftists are doing. That's why I'm telling you, I think Elon Musk smelling the coffee and he realizes that we are in deep doo-doo and we got to turn this around. Tucker had a thing, had a lady on his show. I don't know if it was last night. I think it was last night. He had this transgender on that transgendered. And I watched it, and I heard today that YouTube took it down.
Wow.
Tucker's interview with her. Because she was saying that when she was a young teenager, right, she was confused, and she had a lot of these teachers and people in her influence telling her that it's okay if you're a girl and you think you're a boy, that's normal at your age, and did all this and did all that. And she came out and said, man, they messed me up.
Mm-hmm.
And YouTube took it down, Steve. They wanted the sense. They didn't want that out there. They're trying to make us live in an alternate universe where they only want us to see what they want us to see. It's a false truth. That's the whole point of this whole censorship thing, to hide the truth from us. And I hope we're going to see what happens here with Elon Musk. You know, if he's able to pull this off. You seen how they were melting down. They were going after him, Steve. They're fighting tooth and nail to keep him from taking over. You seen what they did?
Did you? I was watching Fox News is about the only one that's really covering it. Yesterday, they were saying, and I think you brought this up the other day, who are some of the biggest shareholders in Twitter? It's your BlackRock, it's your, what is it? Is it Vanguard or those big names? Yeah. And they apparently are adamantly against Elon being able to take the company regardless. And you see, and it's not their money. It's the investors that give them their money to hopefully make them a profit. And in the name of trying to keep control and be able to have the censorship abilities on Twitter, they're turning down this offer, which would have garnered a lot of money for a lot of people. Now, yesterday, apparently, Elon said he's got his plan B, and in less than 2 weeks, I guess the counteroffensive is going to be launched, they're saying.
Steve, I'm trying to think of the head CEO of BlackRock. I'm trying to think of his name, but he's a whacked out leftist. Whacked out.
Mm-hmm.
What they did is they created more shares. In other words, they had 1,000 shares.
Diluted it. That was the poison pill.
You know, yes, the poison pill. They doubled the amount of shares, which reduced the price of each share, right? So if you double the amount of shares, if it was $10 a share, well, now it's $5 a share. So if Elon Musk had 10% of the company, roughly, now he's only got 5%. So they're willing to go broke to keep this happening, Steve. And it's not about the money for Elon Musk, and it's not about the money on the left, neither. They are willing to throw our money, our investments down the toilet to keep Elon Musk from taking control of Twitter, because it's all about censorship. They can't let the truth of what is going down in this world to happen. So, man, I knew I was pushing some buttons here. I hope.
No, we are perfectly fine. Yeah. Bongino was talking about the censorship thing. I don't know if you saw the clip where Peter Ducey with Fox News kind of backed her in the corner, and Jen Psaki actually came out and admitted that they, being the U.S. government, the Biden administration, is using the likes of Facebook and social media to censor what people say. I've got the clip where he shared that day before yesterday, I think it was. It's unbelievable.
He's been saying for years, Steve, that if they can control 3 things, let me see if I can remember this. If they can control what's being put out, if they can censor, right, the truth, they control that. And that's controlled by the media, your Marxists, your people in CNN, MSNBC, these people masquerading as journalists. They control the narrative. Anybody that comes out against anything. There was 2 narratives for COVID, Steve. It was vaccines and masks. Anything else that was put out on Twitter, anything, would get brought down. would get censored. So if they can control that, he said if they can control your education, where they can brainwash these kids for the future generation to get them to think what they want. And I'm trying to think what the third one was. It escapes my mind right now, but if they can do these three things, they got us. Oh, it was healthcare. Steve, if the government controls whether they crack open your chest to get a heart plant or not, they got you, right? If they can control if you get this vaccine or not, you're going to take this vaccine or you're going to lose your job. They got you, man. They got you. And there's a lot of people thinking that we got a second lockdown coming. It'd be the final blow if we let them get away with it. And they're going to use COVID as an excuse because of the election coming up, and it goes far beyond the election in my mind, Steve. But hey, man, I took enough of your time here. I appreciate it.
Well, at this point, the American people have overwhelmingly have had enough of this COVID stuff. Enough is enough already. Yeah, yes, you had the Omicron wave, right there at the new year, right after Christmas, January into February. Yeah, millions, hundreds of millions of people now have natural immunity. So while they're talking about what's going on in China and having to lock things down there, and the cases are increasing in other countries, most of the experts that you can actually believe who aren't sharing the, quote, narrative of like the likes of Dr. Fauci and the CDC, they'll tell you that the natural immunity that this BA2, Omicron variant number 2, is going to run into a proverbial wall of immunity. Yes, there may be some cases, there may be some deaths, but it's not going to warrant anything that would justify any sort of lockdown or shutdown or send anybody. Everybody's got to work from home again, those kind of things, which that's what they want in D.C., because that's the only way that they can control, again, what happens when it comes to mailing out potentially millions of ballots for the midterm elections. But we got to get a quick pause in here. The Steve Sommers Overnight Drive.
You're listening to the Overnight Drive with Steve Sommers.
After a long winter road trip, there's nothing like coming home to a warm, comfortable home. Hi, I'm Steve with USA Insulation. We appreciate our truckers and the long hours you're putting in to serve us all. Without you, we wouldn't even get the materials to insulate. So we want you to feel like a king when you get back. We put our foam in your walls. It's like putting a coat around your entire home. Keeps the cold air out and the warm air in. And with the rising energy costs, that's going to save you a bundle. We're getting homes ready for winter right now, and we have $1,000 of savings for everyone. But because we love our truckers, we're going to give you an additional $250 discount just for mentioning this show. So give us a call, 1-800-USA-FOAM. That's 1-800-USA-FOAM or usainsulation.net. We're going to give you an additional $250 discount for mentioning the show, 1-800-USA-FOAM or usainsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
At Hotshot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems. For example,
diesel fuel cetane levels.
The cetane rating in diesel fuel is 42 to 45. Most diesel engines operate more efficiently with a cetane rating of 48 to 50. One treatment of Hotshot Secret Diesel Extreme will raise your cetane 7 points, increase fuel economy, and improve cold starts.
Hotshot Secret Diesel Extreme is available nationwide at truck stops, fine farm and auto stores, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hotshot Secret,
powered by science.
My daughter Brinley is here at St. Jude. Coming here was literally life or death, and it was so scary. But St. Jude is fighting for one goal, like this one mission, life. And that gave us hope. We haven't received a single bill from St. Jude, so I really can just focus on what's best for Brinley.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
And now, back to the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive, live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios.
Yeah, again, I've actually got the audio clip. Ducey kind of backing Jen Psaki into a corner a couple days ago, and she pretty much comes out and openly admits that this administration they've teamed up with the likes of these social media outlets to control the narrative, what is said, what is allowed to be posted. Meanwhile, the Elon Musk update was, all right, the counteroffensive against Twitter may launch in less than 2 weeks, according to the report. His bid to buy the social media giant to create a true free speech platform was complicated when Twitter's board over the weekend takes the opposite stance when it comes to free speech, actually implemented or adopted the poison pill policy, diluting his share of the company and therefore diluting his leverage. This past day, though, a yet-to-be-confirmed report indicates that Musk was looking to circumvent this effort by teaming up with other investors. Another report yesterday revealed, according to the New York Post, Musk and his potential co-investors will be planning to launch a tender offer for Twitter in, say, 10 days or so. Now, who were those others that may be willing to join with Elon? This investor team-up will be a complex deal that raises debt against both the company and possibly Musk's own stock, as well as a giant cash equity infusion from co-investors. The co-investors will combined have more equity than Musk, but he will be the biggest single holder, it says. So pause there. Always moving, got you coming up. Hold on through the break here. The Steve Sommers Overnight Drive.
USA Radio News.
If you request an Uber or Lyft, you won't need your mask. Reporter Lance Pry explains.
A federal judge in Florida on Monday removed the government's mask mandate, saying it was an overreach. Public transportation riders will no longer be forced to wear masks while traveling. Not to be outdone, the mask mandate at Uber and Lyft ride-sharing dropped their mask requirements for U.S. passengers and drivers on Tuesday.
A Michigan judge has denied the motion to reduce bond for James and Jennifer Crumbley. The parents of the suspected Oxford High School shooter will remain in jail on a $500,000 bond each. Prosecutors are accusing the Crumbleys of neglecting their son and ignoring warning signs of his disturbing behavior. Their son, who turns 16 next week, has been charged as an adult with 24 crimes, including murder. This is USA Radio News.
You clean everything else in your house. Why don't you clean the air? It's easy to do with an Eden Pure Thunderstorm air purifier. They're under $200 for a 3-pack. You can put one in the kitchen. You can put one in the living room. You can put one in that room that you always flush. Go to EdenPureDeals.com. Put in my promo code CLASSIC3 and you'll save $200. EdenPureDeals.com. Discount code CLASSIC3 and you'll also get free shipping.
Bingo fun fact number 6. Americans spend over $90 million weekly on bingo. Why? When you can play Bingo Treasure for free. Go to BingoRadioUSA.com. Play from any device, your smartphone, tablet, or computer. The account is free. The play is free. Play one card. Play more. Chat with other players. Meet new friends. All free at BingoRadioUSA.com. That's BingoRadioUSA.com. Bingo from any device. Hurry. Free accounts are limited.
You're listening to the Overnight Drive with Steve Sommers.
The Hot Shot Secret Facebook page gets a lot of robust Q&A about diesel problems and their solutions. We listen to our customers. Here are their words straight from their mouths about Hot Shot Secret everyday diesel treatment. Our fans call it EDT.
I'm John Sharp, a.k.a. Jay Sharp from Newburgh, Pennsylvania. Using EDT, my local fuel mileage went to average of 22 to 23, and my highway MPG went to 26 to 28.
Hi, I'm Danny. I'm from Arizona. I drive a 02 Ford Excursion. I use EDT at every fill-up, and my mileage went from 12.5 miles to gallon to 14 miles per gallon. I highly recommend it.
Everyday Diesel Treatment delivers a 6-in-1 premium fuel treatment for every fill-up, every time.
Everyday Diesel Treatment is available at truck stops, Tractor Supply, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and online at HotShotSecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
How do you sleep on the road? After downtime, do you wake up well-rested and invigorated or tired, achy, and sore? Well, if it's the latter, you're not sleeping on the Big Rig Mattress. The Big Rig Mattress is a hybrid with an individually pocketed spring core that's engineered to deliver the best restorative sleep for your time on the road. Learn more about the Big Rig Mattress at thebigrigmattress.com or call 877-736-4233. The Big Rig Mattress, 100% made in the USA since 2009.
You work hard. You deserve a seat that works just as hard as you do. The Bostrom T-Series seat has provided drivers with comfort for millions of miles over the past 3 decades. Each seat is built right here in the USA and has 4-position front cushion tilt and higher low-profile air suspension with isolator. It's also equipped with many standard and optional comfort features, such as high and mid backrests, 9.4-inch fore-aft slide adjustment, adjustable armrests, and manual or dual air lumbar support systems to keep you comfortable throughout your ride. Build your T-Series seat today at BostromSeating.com and ensure your ultimate comfort for wherever the road takes you. Bostrom Seating, the ultimate comfort for the open road.
At Turbo 3000, our founder Andy Matoush firmly believed you should challenge yourself.
Put the most money back in your pocket where it belongs. Four Wheeler magazine took our challenge and they wrote it did exactly what we said it would do.
As fuel prices keep going up, get your Turbo 3000 from manufacturer direct. Call us at 888-311-9993. Always free shipping in the USA, and for a limited time, save $45 off total purchase using coupon code STEVESAVES at turbo3000.com.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
And now, back to the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive, live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios.
Well, after quite the cold shot as we started the week, and of course, the incredible snowfall 24 hours ago that was falling in the Northeast. Warmth, more typical of mid to late April or even late May in some cases, is about to expand from the central and southern plains to the Midwest, the Southeast, the central Appalachians between now and the end of the week. In many of the central states, the warm-up is going to waste little time with a return to temperatures about average for this time of year. Today and Thursday, typical highs today in the central states would range near 50 over the northern tier of the Midwest to the middle to upper 80s in southern Texas. Looks like Chicago will rebound into the mid-50s today, the upper 60s by Thursday. Highs are going to trend upward to the 80s along the central and western Gulf Coast. But the warm-up in much of the central U.S. doesn't stop there, as highs will trend from the upper 80s to 90s over portions of Texas by the time we get into this upcoming weekend. Many locations in the Midwest are going to experience probably the warmest days we've seen so far this year. Chicago is among the long list of cities likely to hit the high mark for the year so far. A high near 80 is projected in Chicago Saturday. Now, prior to Saturday, the highest temperature thus far at Chicago's O'Hare Airport was 74 degrees a month ago on March 21st. 70s to lower 80s projected. Minneapolis, Detroit, Indianapolis, Cleveland, St. Louis, among cities likely to have a new high temperature mark for the year by Saturday. Cities such as Nashville and Cincinnati may come close to our warmest days over the past several weeks. Now, that warm-up, enabled by a large storm that's going to move inland over the west starting today and into the latter part of the week. That's going to force a northward bulge in the jet stream to set up over the central straits, which again could trigger an outbreak of severe weather over portions of the plains on Friday and maybe parts of the Midwest by Saturday. Further to the east, a warming trend is coming, and in some cases may match levels anticipated for the Midwest. But the pattern in the Northeast, that's a bit more complex versus what we're going to see in the central states. All right, in Syracuse, New York, where that storm dumped several inches of snow, temperatures spent much of the day yesterday in the 30s. Highs are forecast to trend upward as we progress through the week. Today, the upper 40s. By Thursday afternoon, probably mid to upper 50s, which would be about average for this time of year. By Friday, Boston and New York City, where the chilly ocean waters tend to hold the temperatures back in the spring, you'll see the warming trend with a high well into the 60s. Areas further to the south, such as Philadelphia and Washington, D.C., you will climb into the 70s. Pittsburgh may approach 70 degrees as well at the end of the week. By the way, are the Northeast, the Midwest, are we done with snow for the season? Yeah, looking further ahead, this is probably not the year to plant the flowers in the vegetable garden early in the Midwest and the Northeast. This unfolding warm-up, according to AccuWeather, is empirical. There's no sustainable pattern shift in the making for warmth to stick around just yet. We could see more intrusions of cold air on into the first part of May. That's likely, he says. Now, snow will become more and more unlikely in the coming weeks, but the chance of snow is not zero. From the Dakotas to Michigan, even over the mountains, from West Virginia and Pennsylvania on up into New England. Indeed, a storm is forecast to bring more snow to parts of the Dakotas this weekend, and maybe some snow for the interior Northeast that could come calling in early May. Always moving on the line. Good morning.
Good morning. That's enough with the snow, okay? Just no more snow talk. So I hope you had a happy Easter.
Had a great Easter weekend. Thank you. How about you?
Eating dinner at work, and thought I had a nice holiday dinner from the cafeteria, and had gotten made a little salad from the salad bar, and I had some ham and little tiny taste of scalloped potatoes and fresh broccoli. And I'm raving about how nice this was. And was with my work family. And I got near the end of my salad, and there was a great big bug in there. We're talking antenna, legs, wings.
Oh, wow.
It was huge. Yeah, and I couldn't finish it. I couldn't finish what was in my mouth either. It was all I could do to keep from hurling it across the table. But I was polite, and I took it back down and showed it to the manager. And I said, I know you didn't put this in here yourself. And he said, no. He said, it's bagged lettuce from a factory. And I said, I know, and things happen. So I just want to make sure you get rid of the rest of it. And he said, oh, no problem.
Yummy, yummy.
Anyway, I was very proud of it, but put a little damper on the good feelings I was having going on at the time. But a couple of things real quick. Last week you had posed the question, who is running the country?
Yes.
And I went to answer you, and apparently the air got thin on my soapbox, and I kind of fell off into a pit. So I want to apologize for that, but I do have the answer. Mm-hmm. My answer to that question is, I don't know. But, and when I say I don't know, I'm saying I don't know names. I don't know exactly who it is, but I believe with all my heart that it is a group of people, not a single person, but a group of people, like a conspiracy kind of thing. I'm going to go that far. And number two, I'm going to swear with and bet as if almost anything in the world I would bet. But I know for a fact, whoever is running this country did not receive one single vote from anybody in this country to be president.
Mm-hmm.
That I know for a fact. And so there's my answer to that, which is why I get so frustrated that this group decided that they know what's best for me, that they know what's best for the country, and even though that's not what the country voted for, if that makes sense. So we're going to leave that subject. Next subject on transgender. I read a article the other day of a man who is a transgender female psychologist.
Okay.
I think he's a psychologist. That started making the change in their late 40s, rather late in life to do it, but did it. Went from a man to a woman, and in his profession, he helps people that are transitioning, that from the psychological standpoint of it. And this person said, this has gotten way out of control, that this has become trendy, that the idea of letting anybody of a young age decide what they want to be, and for anyone to give them meds and to back it up and all that without a full psychological evaluation, without years of allowing the body to develop and the brain to develop, that is absolutely reckless. And I had to agree. Like I said, I think they're in their early 70s now, have lived a lifetime, understand it, see it from all the different views, and is saying, no. That you've gone way too far the other direction. This is not what this is about. And this is not healthy, what people are doing. So I thought that was a fascinating article, which that is how I have viewed it for quite some time on that. And as for the communication, isn't that what President Trump wanted to do, to have a totally free speech platform to be able to speak your mind without hurting anybody? That I don't believe in threatening somebody or making bad stuff like that,
Sure.
That would hurt somebody. But I believe that they call that influencing an election. And I'm going to let you go because I have got something in my throat.
Got the
Sorry for that.
Got the bug in her throat. Oh no! I hate when that happens. All right, hey, thank you so much. Always moving. All right, it is 844-3388. Let's take a listen, and if I can...
Government...
Okay, never mind. I have to... It started playing, so I will rewind, and we'll come back to that here just ahead. Back into the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive, live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios.
Live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios, the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive.
You work hard. You deserve a seat that works just as hard as you do. The Bostrom T-Series seat has provided drivers with comfort for millions of miles over the past 3 decades. Each seat is built right here in the USA and has 4-position front cushion tilt and higher low-profile air suspension with Isolator. It's also equipped with many standard and optional comfort features, such as high and mid backrests, 9.4-inch fore-aft slide adjustment, adjustable armrests, and manual or dual air lumbar support systems to keep you comfortable throughout your ride. Build your T-Series seat today at BostromSeating.com and ensure your ultimate comfort for wherever the road takes you. Bostrom Seating, the ultimate comfort for the open road.
After a long winter road trip, there's nothing like coming home to a warm, comfortable home. Hi, I'm Steve with USA Insulation. When we put our foam in your walls, it's like putting a coat around your entire home. It keeps the cold air out and the warm air in. We're getting homes ready right now for winter, and we have $1,000 savings for everyone. But because we love our truckers, we're going to give you an additional $250 discount for mentioning the show. 1-800-USA-FOAM or USAinsulation.net.
My mother was always very active and independent, and she was familiar with her neighborhood. But one day, she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. She wasn't even really sure where she was at.
It's important for you to talk to someone about it. I felt so much better after my son told me, Mom, we'll figure it out.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Because Channel 19's a little congested. Call Steve now at 844-844-3388. The Overnight Drive.
Yesterday, for how long has the administration been spying on people's Facebook profiles looking for vaccine misinformation?
Well, that was quite a loaded and inaccurate question, which I would refute.
How?
Well, Peter, first of all, as you know, we're in a regular touch with a range of media outlets. Let me finish. As we are in regular touch with social media platforms. This is publicly open information, people sharing information online, just as you are all reporting information on your news stations.
But, okay, so these 12 people who you have on a list, 12 individuals, do they know that somebody at the Surgeon General's office is going through their profile?
I'm happy to get you the citation of where that comes from. There's no secret list. I will tell you that these are people who are sharing information on public platforms on Facebook, information that is traveling, is inaccurate. Our biggest concern here, and I frankly think it should be your biggest concern, is the number of people who are dying around the country because they're getting misinformation that is leading them to not take a vaccine. Young people, old people, kids, children, this is all a lot of them are being impacted by misinformation.
Typically, the march towards totalitarianism, you don't advertise that you're a communist totalitarian. You just don't. It's just bad marketing. That's not the way you do it. You hide it for a little while. You take away civil liberties in a drip, 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 and then boom, the dam breaks, the gusher comes out, and then people don't even know what happened. They're like, what happened? My civil liberties disappeared. Yeah, you were a useful idiot who helped it along. Major screw up yesterday because they made the big mistake totalitarians make is they get cocky. Remember, was it Star Wars, the original one, where they're in the Millennium Falcon shooting that? Don't get cocky, kid. They got cocky. Luke Skywalker got cocky, just Joe Biden's no Luke Skywalker or Jen Psaki. So Peppermint Patty went up yesterday to the lectern again, and she screwed up huge. Folks, one of the things private companies rely on to say, hey, we're not a government entity. We're not suppressing speech. As they say, we're private. We can choose who says what, when, and where on our platform. That's a big problem, folks. Why is it a big problem for Facebook and Twitter and these other entities now? Because I've been arguing for a long time that these companies can't continue to say, hey, we're private. The government restrictions on freedom of speech, that's our thing. It's our choice. We're allowed to say what we want. They're not private. They're acting as deputies now of the United States government. We've known it for a while, and the government admitted it yesterday. Here's Jen Psaki up at the lectern. Peppermint Patty letting it go. Admitting that the government is, quote, tracking and flagging your online activity on social media and working with Facebook to try to wipe this stuff off the map. Here she is doing it right. She just admits it. Check it out.
This is a big issue of misinformation, specifically on the pandemic. In terms of actions, Alex, that we have taken, or we're working to take, I should say, from the federal government, we've increased disinformation research and tracking within the Surgeon General's office. We're flagging problematic posts for Facebook that spread disinformation. We're working with doctors and medical professionals to connect to connected medical experts who are popular with their audiences with accurate information and boost trusted content. So we're helping get trusted content out there.
Big, huge. I don't know why they did this.
Open admission.
I know why they did it. I mean, when I say why they did this, I don't know why they just openly said what they've been doing the whole time. Major, major tactical and strategic mistake. I know a lot of naysayers, damn, nothing's going to happen. Listen, it might not. I'm just telling you, when you're looking to enact totalitarianism, which they want to do, you're usually quiet about it, and you don't put something on the record. Why? Because it can be used against you later in court. Folks, big problem here. There have been a number of Supreme Court cases on this issue. Just to be clear, the government, because of the Bill of Rights, can't do anything to I shouldn't say can't do anything. Precision matters. The government has very clear restrictions on what they can do if they attempt to restrict free speech. Very clear restrictions.
And Peppermint Patty right there openly admitted at the podium to the media, right there for all the world to see, we, the administration, we are working with them. We are flagging material that we deem is misinformation. And you know what that material can be? Yeah, that material is anything that goes against the likes of the Dr. Fauci, Dr. Birx, the, quote, follow the science crowd. You got the likes of the actual mRNA vaccine developer, creator, Dr. Robert Malone. He's on that flagged list. You do Dr. Mercola, who's been sharing information, the actual statistics, the facts, numbers from research around the globe, research coming out of Sweden, Australia, Israel. But they flag his information as disinformation because it points out the number of people who have had adverse reactions when the vaccines were big in the news. Notice how everything's just really, really fading away when it comes to all the vaccine talk. But the open admission there, and it's not only when it comes to talk about COVID-19 or vaccine. The government is tracking their following. They're using their artificial intelligence. They don't have enough eyeballs and physical people to be monitoring literally billions of posts on social media on any given day. They're using their, quote, artificial intelligence. I shared a piece that I had copied and pasted yesterday from the actual, from Facebook, where they explain how, who are their, quote, fact checkers. It's the algorithms. What a computer recognizes is X's and O's. That's all it is. A computer has to be taught. They're using the artificial intelligence, looking for those, quote, keywords to flag you. Now you may be shut down or put on the 30-day suspended list. That's typically done automatically by the artificial intelligence. They give you the opportunity. So, well, if you want to dispute this, you fill out your information on why you want to, dispute or say you should not be banned for 30 days, that kind of thing. Then and only then might they get someone, an actual human being, to physically maybe look at what you had posted, see what the context might have been. As I said the other day, I actually posted something in total jest. It was a joke, but within seconds, the artificial intelligence says, you just broke our community standards. And it was a joke. I didn't contest it because they didn't actually ban me for 30 days. They put me on that was your one strike. one more such incident within 30 days, you're going to get, on the blacklist or Facebook jail. But this administration, who in the government? They're monitoring everything you say, everything you post, and they make a determination, working with these social media outlets, what you can and cannot say. This government is actually monitoring and controlling the, quote, what is supposed to be free speech in this country. Last I checked, we are not the CCP. We are not the Communist Chinese Party. But there's a whole bunch that are actually running this country that are trying to take us in that direction. It seems to be happening a whole lot faster. I never thought we'd see the day we're in a position where we are right now, let alone where are we headed next. All right, we'll get to the Carolina Monkey Gouger on the line, coming up first out of the box when we come back after the top of the hour. Matter of fact, rolling up on the midnight hour on the West Coast. Who we got checking in here? There's Philip. Happy 420. Puff, puff, pass. Just kidding. I know the truck drivers cannot partake, but, nobody but Californians, right? Yeah, 420. Hello, Matt. Matthew was on board bright and early this morning. Morning, Steve. MOON. That spells hump day, right? Good to have you with us. There's JS on board. Yeah, I'm hourly here talking about pay, going back to the discussion about the overtime and whatnot. I get hourly for lines 3 and 4 for all my time, minus a 10-minute break and overtime after 40 hours, and I average 62 to 67 hours a week. Yeah, we also get per diem for each night out. I would never go back to any other form of compensation. Okay, I'm paid for all of my time. Let's see, Donald checking in. Yuba, Wisconsin, kind of cool and calm. Good morning, everybody. There's Donna on board. Hey there, Donna. Horse feathers. Call is the first keyword. Oh, the first keyword tonight was bake. B-A-K-E. We've got another keyword coming up about an hour from now. The Steve Sommers Overnight Drive.
USA Radio News.
Ukrainian officials said this week that roughly 1/3 of its infrastructure has been demolished by Russia's invading forces. The infrastructure minister said $100 billion in damage has been inflicted on the nation's infrastructure, but added that the bill could run as high as $500 billion when everything from homes to roads has been tallied up. The Justice Department says it will not appeal a federal district judge's ruling that ended the nation's federal mask mandate on public transit. However, it said it will defer to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. On Monday, a judge in Florida ended the sweeping mandate. A Justice Department spokesman called the federal mask order, quote, a valid exercise of the authority Congress has given the CDC to protect the public health, unquote. You're listening to USA Radio News.
The MyPillow.com clearance continues. Roll and go anywhere. MyPillow's $9.99. The Body Pillow $39.99. And MyPillow bath sheets on sale 50% off. Use my promo code USA. Go to MyPillow.com/radio specials. You'll also get a free copy of Mike Lindell's book. MyPillow.com/radio specials. Use promo code USA or 1-800-951-8175.
The Cleveland Browns are under investigation regarding potentially rigged games.
Sports Illustrated is reporting the National Football League is investigating the Cleveland Browns for allegedly throwing games that took place during the 2016 and 2017 seasons. Former chair of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Mary Jo White, is leading the investigation. Ms. White is also in charge of investigating Brian Flores' claims that he was offered $100,000 per loss from Miami Dolphins owner Stephen Ross during the 2019 season. From the West Coast USA Radio News Bureau, I'm Lance Pry.
Pharmaceutical company Moderna hopes to offer updated COVID-19 boosters in the fall that combine its original vaccine with protection against other variants. On Tuesday, Moderna said its goal is to produce a combination shot that specifically targets the Omicron variant. You're listening to USA Radio News.
Hi, this is Dr. Joel Wallach, and I want to tell you that arthritis is not a genetic thing. It's not a disease of aging. Neither is osteoporosis. Get a hold of my book. It's all in your head. It goes into the 25 different diseases you get when you have osteoporosis of the skull. These are all reversible. You take the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack, the MSM, vitamin D3, stay away from all the bad foods, including gluten, and guess what? You'll regrow all your bones, including your skull and your legs and your hips and everything else. Contact us at usaradiohealth.com. That's usaradiohealth.com.
Governors in border states and beyond are banding together to stop illegal crossings at the U.S. southern border.
The heads of 26 states are joining together in what's being called the American Governor's Border Strike Force. Arizona Republican Governor Doug Ducey details the new coalition.
Today we are announcing the American Governor's Border Strike Force. This is a majority of America's governors stepping up to do what the Biden administration refuses to do.
That audio courtesy of Fox News. The goal, they say, is to share intelligence and invest in analysis as a way to stop human and drug smuggling. Membership includes border states like Texas and Arizona, but also includes states that are far away from Mexico, such as Montana and North Dakota. From the USA Radio News Phoenix Bureau, I'm Tim Berg.
Netflix suffered its first subscriber loss in more than a decade. It caused its shares to plunge 26% in extended trading amid concerns the streaming service may have already seen its best days. The company's customer base fell by 200,000 subscribers during the January through March period. It now expects to lose another 2 million subscribers during the April through June period. If you're planning a dream vacation to Hawaii, take note. Sun Country Airlines is cutting service to Hawaii for the rest of the year. For USA Radio News, I'm Katie Lewis.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems and their solutions. For example,
ultra-low sulfur fuels.
The primary function of diesel fuel is combustibility. One of the little-known aspects of fuel is its role as a lubricant to metal-on-metal moving parts. The introduction of ultra-low sulfur fuels diminishes the fuel's ability to lubricate because sulfur, which has been mostly removed, has lubricating properties. Hot Shot Secret Everyday Diesel Treatment with LX4 delivers unmatched lubricity. Third-party testing confirms that it takes 3 times the amount of leading fuel treatment to match the lubrication benefit of 1 dose of Hot Shot Secret. Everyday Diesel Treatment is a fully formulated 6-in-1 premium fuel treatment for every fill-up, every time.
Everyday Diesel Treatment is available at truck stops, Tractor Supply, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and online at HotShotSecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
Well, that midnight hour is upon us, and we really got a long, long way to go. How will we stay awake? Well, thanks to Chris, for goodness sake. We got Steve Sommers on the radio. Got that Hot Shot Secret and the diesel. You know, it really makes this Detroit come to life. We're gonna hear from all our friends. We're gonna do it all again on this overnight drive. How about you, Big Ed? Are you with me? Break one line for that Carolina monkey gouger. Negatory there, hillbilly, you clean clear to Blacktown, let her roll. Well, we all tune in to catch the weather, whether rain or sleet or even snow. And it don't matter if you're in New York or Dallas, you'll catch it all on the Steve Sommers Show. We got that Hot Shot Secret and the diesel. You know, it really makes that Detroit come to life. We're going to hear from all our friends. We're going to do it all again on this overnight drive. Yeah, we're going to hear from all our friends. We're going to do it all again on this overnight drive.
There you go.
That's the Big Moose.
All right, welcome into a Wednesday for those on the West Coast. Pacific time zone. Here we are, 4:20. Yeah, boy. I'll be... guarantee somewhere you're going to smell a skunk today. What's that smell? Smell like a skunk? Oh, it's 4:20. You know what I mean? A little shake, rattle, and roll. I guess some folks are kind of wondering. We've talked for years and years about being overdue for a big one, big quake. At a 3.9, the latest shaker near the California-Mexico border this past day, according to geologists, the nearly 11-mile deep earthquake shook near Brawley, California, about 1:30 this past afternoon, according to the Geological Survey. Yeah, there were dozens who reported feeling the quake shortly after it occurred. But this is just the latest to rattle the California-Mexico border. They've seen nearly a dozen earthquakes with a magnitude of 2.5 or bigger in the past week. All right. I guess the biggest was a 4.6 this past Friday, April 15. More than 4,000 reported feeling that quake to the Geological Survey. Light shaking could be felt in San Diego and Long Beach. Yeah, one local says, earthquakes keep coming. And here I am worried about my anime figurines getting broke versus my own well-being. Right? Don't worry about the physical possessions, people. Come on, you can't take them with you anyway. Of course, magnitude measuring the energy released at the source of the earthquake. The Geological Survey explained it replaced the old Richter scale, but quakes between 2.5 and 5.4 are often felt but rarely cause much damage. Anything below a 2.5 is seldom actually felt by people, but you always wonder when you start to have a cluster in the same area, is that a precursor to something larger? All right, let's get back to the calls. Lost to the Carolina monkey gouger. I guess he had to take care of business, so that brings us to the Cadillac Mac. Morning, Cadillac.
Hey, good morning, Steve. How you doing?
Doing well. Good to have you with us.
Just wanted to give you a little something that personally happened to me with the vaccine shot. The vaccine is something I think that each individual, it's their choice whether they want to get the vaccine or they don't want to get the vaccine. I chose not to get the vaccine. That's my choice, my right. Well, this happened to me with the doctors. I happen to have RA, rheumatoid arthritis. Well, back about 5 months ago, I had a big flare-up, and I haven't had one in a long time, so I went to my rheumatologist. The first question she asked me, did you get vaccinated? And I said, no, that's not the reason I'm here. I'm here because I had a flare-up, and I was in a lot of pain. And she goes, well, you need to get vaccinated. And I said, listen, I didn't come here to argue about the vaccination shot. I came here to talk about my condition that I had and my flare-up. And she goes, well, you need to get vaccinated. I said, listen, drop the subject. I don't want to talk about it. Well, anyway, it went on. She got mad. She walked out. In the mail, a month later, she actually dropped me as a patient.
Wow.
Because I did not get the vaccination shot. Now, that's not the end of the story. So I'm without no medicine at all. So I went to my family doctor and I said, listen, I got to get a new RA person. So they said, fine, but it takes a while to find one. So I said, well, will you fill my medicine for me? Sure, no problem. So another month went on, 2 months went on, and I said, I need my medicine filled. You need to come in and talk about it. So I came in and went into the doctor, and he goes, no, I'm not going to fill it because you did not get vaccinated.
Wow.
So my family doctor dropped me. So I found a new RA doctor on my own. They accepted me. The first question they asked me when I went in yesterday, are you vaccinated? Steve, I had to lie to them. Yes, I am vaccinated. Okay, good to go. So I actually had to lie, which is a bloody shame that I had to lie to say I got vaccinated just to see a doctor now. I mean, it's so bad the world's coming to, they want to take your free will away from you. Not only do they want to make you get back, if anything that I've learned in life from my parents, nothing in the world is free.
Mm-hmm.
So why are they trying to give you a free vaccination shot, even paying people to take the vaccination shot? In Ohio, they did $1 million lotteries for the vaccination shot. Nothing in the world is free. So if you haven't got vaccinated, don't give up your free will. That's all I got to say. It's just a shame that I have to come to the point to see a doctor anymore that you have to lie that you got the vaccination shot. And I'm sure that's probably happened to some of the other listeners on the line. But I just wanted to share that experience that's what it's coming to.
You're the first person I know that's actually personally gone through. I mean, I've seen some of the stories, some of the news items about doctors and whatnot saying that they're going to refuse to treat patients who have not been vaccinated. But you're the first I've seen that's actually physically gone through it personally.
Yes, I physically went through it personally. So whether the doctors are getting a kickback or the doctors are in on something, this vaccination is something far and beyond something we will probably, all of us will ever understand why they're pushing it so hard. So I'm sure the doctors are in on some sort of kickback or some sort of a something from somebody saying, hey, refuse the people that don't have the vaccination. So it's actually happening.
Wow. Cadillac Mac, thank you for sharing. Yeah. That's bizarre. Like I said, I've heard that those kind of things were I've also heard about people that had various, say, elective surgeries scheduled, and they're refusing to perform the surgery if they have not taken the vaccine. So much for freedoms. Freedoms. Kind of weird, though. Just wasn't about a week ago, Dr. Fauci said, well, we've come to the point where people are going to just have to make their own choice. If you want it, get it. If you don't, you're not. It should have been that way from the very beginning. By the way, as we had the announcement that the mask mandate here in the United States, as far as travelers, public transit, Uber, Lyft announced yesterday, no more mask requirements. If you are a driver that delivers on the other side of the border, if you cross like into Canada, don't throw your mask in the trash because they have no plans to stop requiring masks on planes north of the border. We're taking a layered approach to keeping travelers safe, and masks are an incredibly useful tool in our arsenal against COVID, says Canada's transport minister this past day. The spokesperson confirmed masks will be required on Canadian airlines and on flights that depart from or arrive in Canada. They will also require travelers to wear masks and track close contacts for 14 days after arriving in Canada. Apparently, in Canada, the landscape's a bit different. Surveys there show that wearing masks is widely popular. More than challenges to mask mandates, there's actual vocal opposition and even legal challenges to lifting the mask mandates. Like everything else, I said last evening, hey, the mask mandate's been lifted here. You want to wear a mask? Wear a mask. To my knowledge, I don't believe that my grandson's school, I don't think they're still requiring a mask. Maybe they are. All I know is every morning he still gets in the closet and gets a mask out. All right, it is 844-844-3388. Who we got next up here? Would that be Robert?
Yeah.
Hey, Robert.
Hey, how you doing?
Great. What's happening this morning?
Can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear. Yes, sir.
Okay, I just want to touch on something. I'm not a trucker or anything, but I've been listening to you for like 3 or 4 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I've never called into a radio show. I just want to remind everybody, with everything going on, it's going to sound stupid and petty to you, but get your kids Christmas presents now while you can.
All the talk,
because
all the
I
talk
don't think there's going to be anything on the shelves come Christmas.
That was all the talk last year. You know, remember, leading up to Christmas, the concern was, even Kamala Harris was saying, buy your presents early. So you think it may actually, because it didn't really seem that there was a lack of toys and whatnot available last Christmas. You're thinking with this, the China shutdown thing, that it may be a different story come this Christmas?
Oh, yeah, all the boats piled up.
Yeah.
All the boats piled up and none coming in. Oh, yeah, I think it's going to be bad, especially if China goes to war with Taiwan. Yeah, I'm trying to be careful so I don't say something that's going to get you a strike or something.
Right. Well, I think, I just, like I was talking to Pappy, I think this whole deal with 500 ships that are pretty much kind of like stranded off the coast of Shanghai right now, it's going to take a little bit of time. But yeah, I mean, typically, when does all that Christmas stuff start getting ordered? That probably ships during the summer and early fall, right? To have in the warehouses to stock the shelves.
Yeah, probably gets here in September so they can get it moving.
Yeah.
Is my guess. I was watching this FlightAware, and they were talking about all the boats stranded out there and none of them moving.
That is correct. So, and I mean, I've lost track of whether things have they ever got things caught up off the ports of L.A. and Long Beach. I'm not even up to speed on that, but hey, I do know that right now things are a real mess.
I didn't see, but they're having problems with the chassis because you got to have certain chassis for certain liners.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry to bother you. I don't know much.
Well, you're not bothering us at all. That's what we're here to talk through the overnight hours. Robert, you're a first-time caller, so hey, how about have you tried the Hot Shot Secret products? Are you familiar with the products?
I'm familiar with them, haven't tried them.
Well, you need to try them. So we're going to get you a coupon. We'll get you a code for $60. Go to hotshotsecret.com. You can order up. Do you have a diesel or a gas vehicle?
Gas.
Gas. So, yeah, I would recommend get you some Stiction Eliminator to put on the oil side. Get you some Gasoline Extreme for the fuel side, and that'll get everything cleaned up. And one of these days you can call in. You can say, Steve, I used my coupon code and I put the Stiction Eliminator and the Gasoline Extreme in, and I couldn't believe the difference it made.
Oh, I can't wait to try it.
All right. Well,
I got this big old Chevy 250 in there out in the driveway, and I need to get that going better.
Well, you are a prime candidate. So just watch your text messages. We'll get you a code here in the next day or so. And again, go to hotshotsecret.com. When you key in your order, you'll put in the coupon code at the end, and it'll knock $60 off your order. And they'll cover your shipping as well for a first-time order. And we'll return in 2. Good to have you with us. The Steve Sommers Overnight Drive, live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios.
Live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios, the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive.
Dean Michael, the tax doctor here. Are you one of those truck drivers that came home after a long haul and found the only thing waiting for you was a stack of IRS letters? Your significant other was gone, but your newfound IRS problem is still there. I've heard this story many times over the years. While I can't help you with your broken heart, I can fix your tax problems. If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or haven't filed for many years, call me for a free consultation at 888-557-4020 or go to mytaxhelpmd.com. Like I always say, you keep your eyes on the road, I'll keep mine on the IRS.
145 over 92.
180 over 111. I had a heart attack and a cardiac arrest and then a stroke.
Your blood pressure numbers could change your life. Lowering your high blood pressure could save you from a heart attack or stroke. If you've stopped your treatment plan, restart it or talk to your doctor about creating one that works better for you. Start taking the right steps at manageyourbp.org.
Now I'm, trying to get better, stronger than ever.
Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems. For example,
stiction.
Found throughout the oil system, stiction is the sticky friction that negatively impacts your engine's ability to function at an optimal level. The molecular structure of oil is a hydrocarbon. The engine's extreme heat, tight tolerances, and high pressure cause the oil to break down and release hydrogen, leaving behind varnish, a carbon-based deposit. The varnish clings to the engine's moving parts, creating drag on the turbocharger, oil pump, and pistons. Symptoms of stiction include a rough idle and the loss of fuel economy and performance. Hot Shot Secret Stiction Eliminator delivers a 98% clean rating in third-party scrub tests. Its synthetic cleaner plus nano lubricant contains no harmful solvents and is formulated to be left in the engine to safely dissolve stiction for thousands of miles. It works as you drive.
Stiction Eliminator is available at truck stops, Tractor Supply, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret.
Powered by science. Because Channel 19's a little congested. Call Steve now at 844-844-3388. The Overnight Drive.
Now, let me see. I was just pulling up the story from No Handle Dave. Are you kidding me? He sends me a link out of Chicago, which he kind of points out. Here's another city that was broke, right? Chicago was broke. Hell, Illinois was broke. And with the COVID relief package, the trillions of dollars that this country went in debt, ultimately, that bailed out cities like Illinois and California, all those that were on the verge of bankruptcy. But apparently, Chicago's going to be they're going to begin taking applications starting next week for a couple of social programs. Like a guaranteed income application. And hey, since your fuel bills are so high, how about a $150 voucher for gas? Stimulus checks? Okay, so I'll give you the rest of the story out of Chicago. First, let me give you more. This from his email here. If I can pull that back up. Here we go. Steve, I'm not sure if you've seen this yet, but here's another Democrat-run city that was actually just bailed out by the American taxpayers, and now they want to just throw money around, which means they'll be broke again soon, and they'll have their hand out for another government handout. But keep in mind, the government doesn't have any money. The government only has the money they take from the working people, the taxpayers in this country. Government has nothing but what the taxpayers give them. So it's not a government handout. It's the people. Actually, people that have nothing to do with Chicago or the state of Illinois. Now, he says, as far as student loan bailouts, that is a crock of shish kebab. These people knew going in that you have to pay back a loan. I, among many others, didn't have this choice with our student loans. How about anyone that actually paid off their student loans? Are they going to get reimbursed? How's that work? I think that's fair. Or maybe the government could just pay off my mortgage. I think my mortgage that I took out voluntarily should have more importance than even a student loan that they took out voluntarily. Yeah, hell, my mortgage should be even more important. It's a place to live. Yeah, that's more important than what some of these people who rack up $100,000 in student loans for a degree that they're never going to use. Now, he cites an example. My wife's niece racked up almost $100,000 in loans for a degree that might have earned her $30,000 a year. So she's not even working in the field that she spent so much money on for that useless degree. But she's also one of those people who sits back and cries that I've got to pay back these loans. I just want to smack people like her and let them know nobody forced you to go into debt for that useless degree. But out of sheer respect for my wife, I bite my tongue and I avoid her as much as possible. Oh, by the way, she's a big Bernie supporter, if that sheds any light on the type of person I'm talking about. Yeah, that explains it all right there, Dave. Anyway, on my way to Chicago, as usual, from Kalamazoo, before turning and burning back to Indy. I've been running between 33, 37 degrees, depending on exactly where I'm at, as I go west on I-94 here in Michigan. Great show, as always. And that's from No Handle Dave. He then sent me a link to the, here it is from Chicago. Applications for monthly $500 payments and $150 gas card. Applications begin next week. Well, there you go in Chicago. Hey, we got bailed out by the American taxpayers. Yeah, we've got all kinds of free money. Come on. Come one, come all. It's free. It's free. Give you the rest of the story coming up here. All right, with that, what are we looking at? Rolling toward news break here. So when we come back, Philip's on the line. We'll get to Philip next. Eagle's on board, wants to follow up. And plenty of room for you. Our number, 844-844-3388. And, of course, we'll get some of the industry headlines. I-75, just north of Cincinnati, was shut down this past a fatal crash between a couple of tractor trailers. Details ahead on the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive.
USA Radio News.
If you request an Uber or Lyft, you won't need your mask. Reporter Lance Pry explains.
A federal judge in Florida on Monday removed the government's mask mandate, saying it was an overreach. Public transportation riders will no longer be forced to wear masks while traveling. Not to be outdone, the mask mandate at Uber and Lyft ride-sharing dropped their mask requirements for U.S. passengers and drivers on Tuesday.
A Michigan judge has denied the motion to reduce bond for James and Jennifer Crumbley. The parents of the suspected Oxford High School shooter will remain in jail on a $500,000 bond each. Prosecutors are accusing the Crumbleys of neglecting their son and ignoring warning signs of his disturbing behavior. Their son, who turns 16 next week, has been charged as an adult with 24 crimes, including murder. This is USA Radio News.
You clean everything else in your house. Why don't you clean the air? It's easy to do with an Eden Pure Thunderstorm air purifier. They're under $200 for a 3-pack. You can put one in the kitchen. You can put one in the living room. You can put one in that room that you always flush. Go to EdenPureDeals.com. Put in my promo code CLASSIC3 and you'll save $200. EdenPureDeals.com. Discount code CLASSIC3 and you'll also get free shipping.
Bingo fun fact number 6. Americans spend over $90 million weekly on bingo. Why? When you can play Bingo Treasure for free. Go to BingoRadioUSA.com. Play from any device, your smartphone, tablet, or computer. The account is free. The play is free. Play one card, play more, chat with other players, meet new friends, all free at BingoRadioUSA.com. That's BingoRadioUSA.com. Bingo from any device. Hurry, free accounts are limited.
You're listening to the Overnight Drive with Steve Summers.
Do you have a Dodge pickup and hate your automatic transmission? Of course you do. Levon Miller at Firepunk Diesel here, and we specialize in heavy-duty and performance transmissions for your 3-quarter or 1-ton Cummins-powered truck. So if you're interested in turning your stock slush box into a towing monster, call us today at 614-733-3744 or visit us online at shop.firepunk.com.
After a long winter road trip, there's nothing like coming home to a warm, comfortable home. Hi, I'm Steve with USA Insulation. We appreciate our truckers and the long hours you're putting in to serve us all. Without you, we wouldn't even get the materials to insulate. So we want you to feel like a king when you get back. We put our foam in your walls. It's like putting a coat around your entire home. Keeps the cold air out and the warm air in. And with the rising energy costs, that's going to save you a bundle. We're getting homes ready for winter right now, and we have $1,000 of savings for everyone. But because we love our truckers, we're going to give you an additional $250 discount just for mentioning this show. So give us a call, 1-800-USA-FOAM. That's 1-800-USA-FOAM or USAinsulation.net. We're going to give you an additional $250 discount for mentioning the show. 1-800-USA-FOAM or USAinsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
It's coming. Crisp fall mornings turn bitter cold. You climb into your diesel and it feels like you're sitting on an ice cube. Imagine how your engine feels after a frosty night. Freezing temperatures impact your diesel's fluids, especially fuel. As the temperatures drop, water that is emulsified within your fuel is released, adding more water into your system. Frozen water in your fuel lines, filter, or bowl will simply slow the flow, or worse, stop the flow of fuel in your system. No fuel flow, no start. Get prepared now for the cold that is coming. Hot Shot Secret Diesel Winter Anti-Gel is a premium fuel additive that lowers your fuel's pour point to minus 65 degrees. If it's that cold out, you shouldn't be on the road. You ought to be at home in front of the fireplace. Hot Shot Secret Diesel Winter Anti-Gel Premium Fuel Additive. Available now online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret.
Powered by science.
Dean Michael, the tax doctor here. I have one question for you. Do you want to stop worrying about the IRS? If the answer is yes, then look no further. I've been around for years, I've helped countless people across the country, and my success rate speaks for itself. So now you know where to find good, honest help with your tax problems. What are you waiting for? If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or haven't filed in years, call me now at 888-557-4020 or go to mytaxhelpmd.com for a free consultation and get your life back.
Hi, we're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that we can give our daughters everything they need to grow and learn. But not every child can focus on classes and play dates.
Nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. face hunger. That's 1 in 6. School lunch might be their only meal each day, and it's heartbreaking to imagine any child going to bed hungry. We're dreaming of a perfect day when kids can smile, play, and just be kids without worrying about where their next meal will come from. Feeding America is working to make that perfect day a reality.
Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. That food is given to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about doing things that make an ordinary day extraordinary. Learning to play an instrument, building a sandcastle, hosting tea parties. Hunger should never be an obstacle to growing up.
You can help end childhood hunger in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Keep the bugs off your glass and the smokies off your ass. This is the Overnight Drive with Steve Summers.
Yeah, so I guess Mayor Lightfoot says, hey, we got all kind of money. How can we give some of this money away? We're rich. Applications for 2 financial assistance programs are set to open next week. The first is a pilot program called the Chicago Resilient Communities Pilot Program. which will give $500 a month to low-income residents for the entire year. Mayor Lightfoot believes the money will change the circumstances of those living in poverty. The fund should enable recipients to manage and meet their own financial needs. The second program is called Chicago Moves, which will provide qualifying residents with $150 gas cards to help with the soaring gas prices. Also aims to combat rising inflation by providing $12.5 million in relief funding for disadvantaged Chicagoans. All right, the Chicago Resilient Communities Pilot, one of the largest monthly cash assistance programs in the entire nation, which will offer 5,000 low-income households $500 a month for 12 months. $6,000. With a budget of $31.5 million, the program will offer the monthly money with no strings attached. To be eligible, you must be 18 or older, have experienced economic hardships due to the pandemic, have a household income at or below 250% of the federal poverty level. Now, for a family of three, that's less than $58,000. Last I checked, if you're making damn near $60,000 for a family of three, you're not really living in poverty, are you? All right. Here's how the kicker is. Those who meet these requirements will then be entered into the application process and a citywide lottery. You can apply at any point during a 3-week period beginning at 9 o'clock next Monday morning, ending at the midnight hour Friday, May the 13th. Any assistance needed to apply will be available in person, online, with chat support, and through a phone hotline. Available in multiple languages, by the way. Then you got the Chicago Moves program. As more states are experiencing high gas prices, this program offers qualifying residents $150 gas cards to ease the pain at the pump. Let's see, the program, which still needs approval by the city council, will provide a total of $12.5 million in relief funding, but it did hit a bit of a roadblock earlier this month. Mayor Lightfoot the plan didn't advance out of the Budget and Government Operations Committee. One state lawmaker said the money would be better spent making the Chicago Transit Authority system safer and cleaner to boost ridership back where it was before the pandemic. So Lightfoot would need to revise the proposal for some consideration. Right now, she's proposing $7.5 million to be set aside for $150 prepaid cards redeemable at local Chicago gas stations. So again, you must be a resident of Chicago, 18 or older, have a current valid city sticker with correct mailing information for your vehicle, have a household income at or below 140% of the area median income for Chicago. They've also allocated $5 million for public transit. In addition to the prepaid cards, they'll distribute or add value to 100,000 transit cards for use on public transit, worth about $50 each. At least 75,000 of those transit cards will be given based on geographic data, prioritizing high CTA utilizing residents in low-income neighborhoods. The additional $25,000 transit cards will then be distributed citywide. All right, money, money, money. Come get your money. What's going on, Philip?
Hey, but I got a question. Ain't you supposed to be promoting more more public transit more? I mean, I see that she changed or revised it there toward the end, but don't you need to promote that more, that you need to get away from using fossil fuel, right?
Yeah, that's an idea. Yeah, put them on. It's supposed to be putting them on the trains, right? In the buses and the electric buses.
And you know what happens with all the guys? I mean, I lived in Chicago for 12 years. I know what it's like up there. What about all the folks that commute in from the suburbs that have to live out there?
Yeah.
You know, what about them? You're not helping them out. You're not helping them out with the people that ride the Metro train from, like, say, Arlington Heights, Illinois, into Chicago to go to work at, you know, to keep the city going. I never could understand that concept up there, but it is what it is, and that place is never going to change. It's all about money, and it's the state of Illinois. The capital of Illinois is Springfield. I wish a lot of people would understand that, but actually all the money in Illinois, the majority of it goes to Chicago, and it's squandered away. Been that way for years, so. But how's your hump day going there, Steve?
Not a bad start to hump day here. Yep.
Yep. Today is actually my Thursday. I wanted to look at it that way, which I don't really look at it that way because I work every day, so it is what it is. But we're coming back a little later on that crew return. I think they're supposed to be coming down to the middle of today. Is that what you know, Steve?
On the crew return. Yeah, that's supposed to be later on this evening, correct?
Yeah. The only thing I got a question about that is we're supposed to have a bunch of stuff coming in off the East Coast, so we'll see if they landed out there or not. And Steve, I got a question. I mean, I've got a CDL, and I've had it for many years. I'm wanting to possibly add the hazmat back onto my CDL, and maybe some of the guys out there can help me with this. I'd heard that you have to take an 8-hour class to get your hazmat now. Did you hear anything about that?
Yeah, that's part of the new driver training rule that just kicked in. Yes. For those that are, getting a license for the first time, or if you're looking to upgrade your license to a hazmat or what, you've got to take a course.
Okay. Do you have to is it done through your company, or is it done through, you have to go to a state rank, or, a department, your licensing department?
I think they've got
through them, or is it done through your company?
There is a list, supposedly, I guess, like the FMCSA has a list of certified, quote, training facilities. I don't know. I guess it could be some of the community college. I guess you'd have to go onto their online database to find in your area where a certified training facility would be. Kind of like they've got that list of certified medical examiners for your CDL health cards.
Oh, okay. And it's probably kind of like one of those certified testing places, like back in the day when you used to go get your CDL. They had a certified testing place where you did your road test at.
Yep.
Something like that, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. I'll check it out. So you said it's on the FM site?
Yeah, fmcsaa.gov. I'll see if I can pull up and get a little more for you.
Yeah, if you could you? I don't know. You got my email, right?
I'm pretty sure it's in there. Maybe just shoot me a blank email or something, so I have it at the top of my list.
All right, I'll shoot you a message about it, and see if you can fax the info back to me, or send it back to me. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I had today, bud. I appreciate it. Thanks for talking.
All right, I'm looking here. Let's see, I just pulled up the FMCSA's website. Entry-level driver training, ELDT. Set the baseline for training requirements for entry-level drivers. If you're looking to obtain a Class A or B for the first time, upgrade an existing Class B to a Class A, or, as in the case of Philip, looking to upgrade to a school bus, passenger, or hazmat endorsement for the first time. Let's see. The FMCSA training provider registry retains a record of which CDL applicants have completed the new training. For more info about the regulations and the the training provider registry, go to tpr.fmcsa.dot.gov. I'll copy that link and zip out an email to Philip on that, though. So TPR, standing for Training Provider Registry. That's where you'd go to find in your area certified trainer, where you can, I guess, go through the training. And we'll return into here Wednesday, Hump Day, the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios.
You're listening to the Overnight Drive with Steve Sommers.
After a long winter road trip, there's nothing like coming home to a warm, comfortable home. Hi, I'm Steve with USA Insulation. We appreciate our truckers and the long hours you're putting in to service all. Without you, we wouldn't even get the materials to insulate. So we want you to feel like a king when you get back. We put our foam in your walls. It's like putting a coat around your entire home. Keeps the cold air out and the warm air in. And with the rising energy costs, that's going to save you a bundle. We're getting homes ready for winter right now, and we have $1,000 of savings for everyone. But because we love our truckers, we're going to give you an additional $250 discount just for mentioning this show. So give us a call, 1-800-USA-FOAM. That's 1-800-USA-FOAM or usainsulation.net. We're going to give you an additional $250 discount for mentioning the show, 1-800-USA-FOAM or usainsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems. For example,
Diesel fuel cetane levels.
the cetane rating in diesel fuel is 42 to 45. Most diesel engines operate more efficiently with a cetane rating of 48 to 50. One treatment of Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme will raise your cetane 7 points, increase fuel economy, and improve cold starts.
Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme is available nationwide at truck stops, fine farm and auto stores, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
My daughter Brinley is here at St. Jude. Coming here was literally life or death, and it was so scary. But St. Jude is fighting for one goal, like this one mission, life. And that gave us hope. We haven't received a single bill from St. Jude, so I really can just focus on what's best for Brinley.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
And now, back to the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive, live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios.
All right, good morning to the one and only Country Bumpkin. Checking in from Decatur, Illinois. 49, kind of a damp morning there. All right, good to have you with us. There's Matt checking in. Hey, Steve, can you explain about the RNC getting out of the debates? Yeah, I haven't really followed that real closely, but I think we can, anyone who watched the debates between Trump and Biden, or going back to Trump and Hillary, and just how biased the line of questioning was, hammering Trump and throwing softballs at the Democrats. And that's been the case for years. So I'm not sure what the RNC is talking about doing. They're not going to go with, I guess, the official debate committee as it exists today. Like something about if they're going to have debates, it's going to be in an unbiased sort of setting, unbiased platform. In this day and age, how you come up with that, I don't know. But I'll see if I can find a little more on that. There's hello to Tom. Tom Bigby. How the hell are you, brother? He said, keep the racket down, Steve. I'm trying to get some sleep here. I did get your email a couple of weeks ago. Did I ever respond to that? He just said, hey, thought I'd check in. We need to hook up and have lunch or something. Yeah, hope you're doing well there, Tom. Let's see. Mark is on board. There's Gary, Morning Steve, and the Overnight Drive crew. Norman checking in from North Central Kansas this morning. At the home 20, as a matter of fact. And about 9 before the hour. Let me get back. Eagle with the take 2 there. Go ahead, Eagle. What you got for us?
Yeah, Tom Bigby. Yeah, I ain't heard from that guy in a long time, a couple of years.
Yes.
Yeah, I think he used to be on here show. I think. Yeah, he was. I remember that guy, and then. I didn't know he was still listening to the show, but that's good. Maybe he'll call in one night, see what's going on with that guy. Yeah, Steve, I got a couple of things that I didn't get to in the first call. Going back to I talk about the situation with Ukraine now. You know, as I watch CNN, like I told you, Steve, I just like to tune in to CNN just occasionally, just to see what these losers are talking about, you know, because I don't have that station. You know, I told you that years ago. CNN has already been disconnected from my cable and thrown in the trash can where it belongs because it's nothing but garbage. It's just like I thought, Steve. Just like I thought. No news on Joe Biden on CNN. No news about the border situation on CNN. No news about the high gas prices on CNN. Like, you know, I remember a couple of years ago, Steve, I heard somebody say, well, I didn't know all these things was going on in the U.S. He said, I watched CNN and I didn't know all this was going on. Well, that's your answer right there, my man.
Right.
If you watch the CNN, you ain't going to know what's going on in the U.S. because they're not going to tell you what the hell is going on in the U.S. That's just the point of it right there. That's why I tell people not to waste their time with CNN because it's nothing but garbage, Steve. That's what it is. They ought to be ashamed of themselves for the bias and bogus reporting they do. But one thing I wanted to say before I get started, Steve, it's going to be real interesting to see what Donald Trump has to say. Donald Trump is holding another rally. I wish I could be there. Another rally on Saturday night in Atlanta, Georgia. He's going to be holding another rally on Saturday night. And guess what? CNN ain't going to tell you about that either. But he'll be holding another rally. It'll be very interesting to see what Trump has to say about good old Joe Biden and the events that's taken place in the last couple of days with this guy, such as a Secret Service agent dressed in an Easter Bunny outfit, controlling the president. I'm sure Trump's gonna have something to say about that. And the unknown man, invisible man that he was shaking hands with. The invisible man he was shaking hands with the other day. It'll be very interesting to see what Donald Trump has to say about that. But let me say this about Ukraine right quick, Steve, in the situation there. Like I say, a lot of people always comment after I say what I say. They got their opinion just like I got mine. But like I said before, we already are involved. In not my opinion. I'm going by the man that's actually there in Ukraine, the so-called president of Ukraine that you see on television all the time. He has already said that we are in World War III. No, this is not Eagle saying that. That's that man. He's on the ground over there. We are involved in World War III right now. The only thing is, like I told you last night, Steve, we don't have men on the ground in Ukraine. But last time I checked, if you supply Ukraine with military vehicles, with guns, ammunition, and everything they need, you're involved in the war, as far as I'm concerned, whether you got people on the ground fighting hand to hand or not. And it's just a matter of time before, like I told you, before the U.S. is going hand to hand with these against Russia. Because, see, Vladimir Putin, Steve, he's going to do something in the next couple of weeks to provoke the United States. They're already talking about the individual using chemical weapons. I just seen something on TV when I was in a truck stop a few minutes ago. They're telling people in Kiev to start buying some gas masks because they think Putin might use some gas. or some type of chemical weapon. And then we'll see what Joe Biden has to say about that and whether or not he wants to put some people on the ground there. So, like I said, we're in a dangerous situation right now. It wouldn't have never happened, and I'll keep going back to this before I hang up with you, Steve. And I don't care what nobody say. I'm not going to even waste my time arguing with him. If Donald Trump was in the White House, we wouldn't even be talking about Russia and Ukraine right now, because Vladimir Putin wouldn't have dared made that move with Donald Trump in the White House, because he know Trump would have put a foot right up his you-know-what. And I'm not going. And for the people who say that I'm not right about that, well, Vladimir Putin had 4 years to make a move while Trump was in the White House, and he didn't do it. So that's the answer right there about Trump, about whether he would have made a move or not. And I thank you for taking my call tonight, Steve.
You got it, Eagle. Hey, good to hear from you. Let me see here. A couple minutes before news break. What are you doing up at 4 o'clock in the morning?
How the hell do you follow and act like that?
How you been, Tom?
Well, I figured you know, this is the only way I can get to talk to you, so yeah.
Why? Because
I'm just breaking balls.
Why?
How
Because
you doing, buddy?
because I never answer my emails. And I never answer my phone. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I guess the honeymoon's over, I guess. I don't know, man. My goodness, this is really, I'm embarrassed. This is the first time I've really been up to really, I'm watching you via Facebook, by the way, and I waved to you, but you didn't wave back. So that's don't worry about it. It's okay. I just wanted to see how you just wanted to catch up with you, see how everybody's doing.
Yeah,
you know?
doing fine, plugging away here, doing our thing all night long. So I see you.
I'm digging the studio. Look, the studio looks good.
We're still friends on Facebook, so I see some of your funny posts, and every once in a while you'll put something funny enough that I'll steal it from you, you know. But yeah,
that's all right. That's all right. I really didn't have anything pressing to share with you. I just couldn't. One of those nights I couldn't sleep, so I thought, well, I'm gonna go get the coffee on and get the day started. But anyway,
several people
just wanted to say hey to you and the folks out there.
Several people had asked about you, and they're saying, have you talked to Tom? How's Tom doing and all that? And I said, I mean, it appears he's doing fine. You're a Hoosier now, living over there in Indiana, right?
Yeah, just we've been getting a lot of stuff done, doing a lot of stuff in and around the house. I've been staying busy, and life's good. I got no complaints.
Everything good, like the cancer's still in remission.
I just wanted to say hey.
Nothing as far as your cancer's still in remission and all that. That's what everybody was asking about. I said, as far as I know, you're good.
Yeah, everything's peachy, and just taking care of that, and the cardio stuff that I neglected for a while when the cancer thing came up. But man, if life was any better, I don't know if I could stand it, to be honest with you.
Well,
life's good.
That's a good thing. Well, I guarantee there's a lot of people out there with a smile on their face saying, man, it's been a long time since I heard his voice. Glad to hear from him.
Well, Steve, I just wanted to say, hey, buddy, and let's maybe, I don't know, maybe we can get together sometime this summer. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with you. I just don't know what to think anymore. Hey, buddy, you take care. It's good to talk to you.
Always busting balls. Some things never change. All right, we gotta get together. I gotta get you in the studio here some nights. Actually, so you can turn around and wave at the camera.
Well, we need to do that sometime. That'd be fun. There would be.
You can just sit here and bust my chop for 2 hours. That's Tom Bigby. All right. Well, we'll get our news break and return with more. Final hour coming up here. The Steve Sommers Overnight Drive, live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios. Hey, Tom.
USA Radio News.
The Biden administration announced changes to federal student loan repayment plans. Officials said the changes will make it easier for millions of borrowers to have their debts forgiven after being required to pay for up to 25 years. Democrats and consumer groups have been calling on the Biden administration to enact such a policy in recent months. U.S. stocks and government bond yields rose Tuesday. Investors parse the latest round of earnings reports for signs that corporate profits are holding up despite inflation. The Wall Street Journal reports analysts expect profits from big U.S. companies to keep growing this year, even as costs rise. And more black families are choosing homeschooling as an option to educate their children, according to a U.S. Census Bureau survey. You're listening to USA Radio News.
With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
Mike Capel here, serial entrepreneur. I started my first business in the basement of a factory over 30 years ago. We had no heat and no air conditioning. Instead of customers, our office visitors were rats, birds, flies, and snakes. Our office flooded often, and we used blankets as our office walls. We were broke and needed customers. Years later, I formed my fifth successful business, Patriot Software, which has attracted tens of thousands of customers with our easy accounting and payroll software used by accountants and non-accountants alike. Go to PatriotSoftware.com, use promo code RADIO, and get 2 months of accounting and payroll software free. That's PatriotSoftware.com.
Accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
The search has ended for a man who disembarked off a cruise ship near the Florida coast.
He went overboard Saturday on Carnival Cruise Line's Mardi Gras ship about 60 miles from shore. The Coast Guard said it suspended the search after covering about 2,000 square miles of ocean. 2 other similar cases have happened this year. A woman was lost in the Gulf of Mexico, and a man presumably died after falling off the ship Carnival Horizon. From the West Coast, USA Radio News Bureau, I'm Lance Pry.
Walt Disney World has lifted the last of its mask requirements, meaning face coverings will be optional for visitors at all locations on the Central Florida Disney property. Masks are still recommended for guests who are not fully vaccinated. In related news, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said the state legislature would take up a bill this week that would dismantle the special district that's allowed Disney to act as its own local government. You're listening to USA Radio News.
Hi, this is Dr. Joel Wallach, and I want to tell you that arthritis is not a genetic thing. It's not a disease of aging. Neither is osteoporosis. Get a hold of my book. It's all in your head. It goes into the 25 different diseases you get when you have osteoporosis of the skull. These are all reversible. You take the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack, the MSM, vitamin D3, stay away from all the bad foods, including gluten, and guess what? You'll regrow all your bones, including your skull and your legs and your hips and everything else. Contact us at usaradiohealth.com. That's usaradiohealth.com.
More than half of U.S. governors are bypassing Washington and taking border safety into their own hands.
The heads of 26 states are joining together in what's being called the American Governors Border Strike Force. Arizona Republican Governor Doug Ducey details the new coalition.
Today we are announcing the American Governors Border Strike Force. This is a majority of America's governors stepping up to do what the Biden administration refuses to do.
That audio courtesy of Fox News. The goal, they say, is to share intelligence and invest in analysis as a way to stop human and drug smuggling. Membership includes border states like Texas and Arizona, but also includes states that are far away from Mexico. From the USA Radio News Phoenix Bureau, I'm Tim Berg.
U.S. single-family home building and permits tumbled in March. Soaring mortgage rates increase costs, but residential construction remains underpinned by a severe shortage of houses. The report from the Commerce Department on Tuesday also showed a record backlog of homes approved for construction, but that haven't been started. Marijuana edibles that mimic the packaging of popular snack foods pose a risk to children. A new study warns that packaging of more than 200 types of edible marijuana products are found in nearly 1 in 10 resembled commercial snack foods like candies and chips. For USA Radio News, I'm Katie Lewis.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems. For example,
stiction.
Found throughout the oil system, stiction is the sticky friction that negatively impacts your engine's ability to function at an optimal level. The molecular structure of oil is a hydrocarbon. The engine's extreme heat, tight tolerances, and high pressure cause the oil to break down and release hydrogen, leaving behind varnish, a carbon-based deposit. The varnish clings to the engine's moving parts, creating drag on the turbocharger, oil pump, and pistons. Symptoms of stiction include a rough idle and the loss of fuel economy and performance. Hot Shot Secret Stiction Eliminator delivers a 98% clean rating in third-party scrub tests. Its synthetic cleaner plus nano lubricant contains no harmful solvents and is formulated to be left in the engine to safely dissolve stiction for thousands of miles. It works as you drive.
Stiction Eliminator is available at truck stops, Tractor Supply, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret. Powered by science.
All right, there you go. Final hour off and rolling here on a Wednesday. Hump Day coming on. Stick around. Got our keyword. This hour's keyword in the $1,000 daily driver bonus contest. I'll pass that keyword your way here in a bit. Go to tncradio.live on the web or the app. Enter that keyword. It's as simple as that. There are a few questions that you have to answer. I guess the pertinent info, as they call it. And each keyword has to be entered separately. Of course, then when we wrap things up here this morning, that's not all. You get additional chances throughout the day. Coming up between 9 and 11 a.m. Eastern Time during the morning grind. Another keyword during the afternoon between 5 and 7 p.m. during the evening surge. They're on tncradio.live. All right, it was just to the north of Cincinnati, about the 29-mile marker, so about 30 miles north of the river. I-75 shut down this past morning as two tractor-trailers got together in front of a rest area there a little before 9 o'clock in the morning. Again, northbound side of I-75, about 3 miles past the 129 exit. Again, in front of the rest area. One of the drivers in that crash was actually ejected and died at the scene. No further information on injuries, but debris from that crash causing disruptions on both sides of the highway. Northbound was shut down for about 4 hours, as a matter of fact. So it was quite the mess. And a heads up for those out in Colorado, you're going to have one less place to stop and take a break or maybe get some rest. Colorado transportation officials warning drivers prepare for the long-term closure of a popular rest area starting on May the 2nd. The Vail Pass rest area in northwest Colorado will be shutting down. Essentially, they're going to demolish and rebuild the whole thing. Brand new facility. They'll also be making improvements to the access roads and the parking facilities, according to the Colorado DOT. But when they say long-term, the rest area, including restroom facilities, will be closed through October of not this year, but 2023. Long time shutdown. Don't know why it takes that long to fix up a rest area, but all right, with that, our number, 844-844-3388. Plenty of room for you. Hello to Pup this morning. What's been happening?
Oh, not much. Just still holding on this steering wheel. How you doing?
Happy Hump Day.
Oh, yeah. How many times have you read about wrecks there at that 29-mile marker? Over your years?
Seems like it happens all too often, doesn't it? I don't know. What is it? Is it where is it trucks trying to merge or something coming out of the rest area? Or I don't know.
That's one of the smaller rest areas that doesn't really have that much safe parking, and they park. I'm not kidding you, Steve. A half a mile before the exit, and then at least a mile past the exit, and then you got guys coming straight off the shoulder right there. They're just went a big shooting star. But anyway, Yeah, how many? You've been on a lot of cruises, I know, after listening to you all these years. When you guys are done on your cruise, don't you disembark off the ship?
Correct. Yeah, they call it the disembarkment. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, on your news break there, I figured you was out for a cigarette. Anyway, the lady says on the top of the news, a man disembarked the ship. But the next thing, the guy says it took the Coast Guard looking over 2,000 square miles, and he jumped overboard. I didn't know jumping overboard and disembarking was the same thing.
That's a different kind of disembarkment. Yeah, I mean, I didn't hear. Did they actually find the guy? I mean, he jumped over Saturday. Sometime Saturday as they were heading back to Fort Lauderdale. I think.
I think the way they were talking, they gave up the search.
Okay, yeah.
So, I heard something today you might want to check into. You know how Donald Trump got that Space Force going because the way China's going with their killer satellites and Russia shooting satellites out of the space? Well, Biden today put a moratorium on putting a hold on all of on like us making killer satellites and missiles and stuff like that. So I didn't know if you heard about that. But then on the college student loan deal, they had Charles Payne on today. He's a financial guy for Fox Business. And he was saying that the worst thing they could have ever done was give this student loans or take it away, Obama's administration did, from the banks and stuff, because they just give out loans for anything. He goes, years ago, if you would have walked in and said, I need $40,000 for 4 years, and they'd say, well, what kind of degree you going to get? I want to be go to school to be a potter. They would, or pottery classes. They would have said, no, we don't think you could make enough money to pay that back. I mean, this here anymore is like a big Ponzi scheme, and the United States government is making almost like $23 billion a year just on the interest off of student loans. So he didn't think they were actually going to forgive them. So I don't know. He might go back and rethink that. But then the last question I had for you, that Lightfoot lady up there in Chicago.
Lightfoot, yeah.
You said people that had to qualify to get those loans and to get their gas cards and everything. I got one good question for you. Is it going to be the same thing that qualifies you to be a Supreme Court justice this last round under Biden?
Yeah, good question.
I'll leave you those points to ponder. And that 3-time world meat hauling champion and stuff. I'm going to give him a chance to cash out on that life insurance policy Saturday. So I hope he's got it all paid up.
Okay.
All righty. He'll know what I'm talking about.
All right. Inside jokes. All right. Thank you, Pup.
Great.
Hey, by the way, that meteor, that big bright meteor you saw while we were talking there, I'd venture a guess that was most likely a Lyrid meteor, because we're just a couple days from the peak of the Lyrid meteor shower. Yes, technically Friday, I guess it is. Thursday night into Friday morning. So here it is, Wednesday. Undoubtedly, you could maybe see one here and there between now and then, but a flurry of meteors, plenty of opportunities to see the celestial fireworks Thursday night into Friday morning. This is, they say, one of the oldest meteor showers in history. Records of the Lyrids going back 2,700 years, according to Earth Sky. Spending time outside to view the Lyrids can be a great earthly Earth Day festivity. If you weren't aware, this Friday is Earth Day. Nearby parks that are open after sunset can be a great spot for stargazing with less light pollution than, say, from your neighborhood where you got a lot of light sources. But up to 20 meteors per hour during the height of the Lyrids. It's a pretty typical rate for most meteor showers throughout the year. What makes the Lyrid event kind of stand out is it marks the end of a meteor shower drought that started on the second night of this year. The most recent meteor shower was the Quantidids, which peaked on January the 2nd. The nighttime skies have been relatively quiet. Not only did that particular shower occur on a cold winter night, but it was one of the shortest annual meteor showers. That particular meteor shower literally lasted for just a few hours. That's it. Now, typically, the Lyrids are best seen during the second half of the night, but the moon could be a bit of a disruption. The bright moon is set to rise about 2 a.m. local time. Once the moon is above the horizon, of course, that moonlight will make it difficult to spot some of the dimmer meteors. So because of that, the best window for viewing the Lyrids this year would probably be between the hours of, say, midnight and moonrise. You can still spot meteors after moonrise. Just try to look at the darker areas of the sky away from the moon. But coming up Thursday night, Friday morning, there you go. And with that, it is 844-844-3388. Plenty of room for you. Got the blind man coming up just ahead. The Steve Sommers Overnight Drive, live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios.
You're listening to the Overnight Drive with Steve Sommers.
It's coming. Crisp fall mornings turn bitter cold. As you fire up your diesel, you can see your breath on the inside of a cab. Imagine looking deep into your engine. Freezing temperatures impact your diesel's fluids, especially fuel. On a 23-degree morning, the paraffin wax in your untreated fuel starts to morph from fluid to large crystals. These crystals clump together and form a gel. At minus 10 degrees, your fuel hits the point where it no longer pours like a liquid. It's so dense that the flow through the fuel filter will slow, causing hard starts or no starts. Get prepared now for the cold that is coming. Hot Shot Secret Diesel Winter Anti-Gel is a premium fuel additive that lowers your fuel's pour point to minus 65 degrees. If it's that cold out, you shouldn't be on the road. You ought to be at home in front of the fireplace. Hot Shot Secret Diesel Winter Anti-Gel Premium Fuel Additive. Available now online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret.
Powered by science.
Do you have a Dodge pickup and hate your automatic transmission? Of course you do. Levon Miller at Firepunk Diesel here, and we specialize in heavy-duty and performance transmissions for your 3/4 or 1-ton Cummins-powered truck. So if you're interested in turning your stock slush box into a towing monster, call us today at 614-733-3744 or visit us online at shop.firepunk.com.
Honorary Forest Ranger Betty White here, lending a hand to my dear friend Smokey Bear, because for years he's only said,
Only you can prevent wildfires.
but there's a lot more to say. Like if you park your car on tall, dry grass, the hot exhaust pipe can start a wildfire. So keep the animals safe, especially the cute shirtless one. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
And now, back to the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive, live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios.
Okay, back at it here. Who sent me that? Dave, a.k.a. Doughboy. Is that really? First, I'm not sure exactly who is John Cooper. But Doughboy said he sent to me the copy via a Twitter post, which says, breaking. President Biden has confirmed to President Obama that he's running for re-election in 2024. Raise your hand if you're going to vote for him if he runs. Okay. Is that supposed to be something funny? I mean, he's not going to be, there's no way he'll still be president in 2024. With the cognitive abilities, what we've witnessed, especially over the weekend, with the damn Easter Bunny having to lead him around. Hey, come on, Joe. You can't talk to these people. Move on. Meanwhile, hello to Truck and Phil, back on the job this week. Morning, Steve, and the Hot Shot Secret Nation. Coffee up. Happy Wednesday. Had a great first day back yesterday. Will there be more shutdowns this year? Yeah, of course, he's talking about the General Motors shutdown. That was what, a 2-week shutdown you just came off of, wasn't it? So back on the road, I guess doing the whole Fort Wayne to Sterling Heights thing and back. Will there be more shutdowns? Only time will tell. Only 249 days till Christmas, though. Good to have you back with us, Truck and Phil and Semper Fi. Thank you very much. Morning, blind man. How the heck are you?
Oh, I'm struggling with my sciatica on my lower back, doing some new exercises from my chiropractor. Went to the cat show Saturday, and we saw a cat there that weighed 40 pounds, Maine Coon.
Really?
About the size of a beagle.
Wow.
Yeah. It was fun watching the judges, judge the cats, first prize, second prize, all that. I said, I got a question for you, Your Honor. And the place started laughing when I called the judge Your Honor. So that was fun. What I was telling everybody yesterday on the local talk shows, the Democrats got a problem now, a huge problem with this ruling. They really wanted to keep this mask mandate going through the rest of the year and then lift it just in time for the midterm elections. Well, this judge took that away from them. And if they appeal, it's going to make them look bad. So they lose either way. And I'm just kind of, laughing to myself, well, you got what you deserve, and things are really starting to fall apart, and some of my neighbors are starting to complain to me, and I said, well, you voted for the guy. I don't want to hear you complain. So they're not happy with me at the moment. About the meteor shower you were talking about, when these meteors hit the ionosphere, it ionizes. And if you got your radio tuned to an FM station or weak FM station, for a few seconds, you're going to get a station about 1,000 or 2,000 miles away. It's called E-skip. And that usually happens during late May through June and into July. And last summer, there was a pretty good one that lasted for about maybe 2 or 3 hours, and I was getting stations in Minnesota, South Dakota, Iowa, Missouri, and my all-time favorite catch was a Newfoundland FM station that I picked up, and that lasted for about maybe an hour and a half. Newfoundland's classic rock, and it was fun to hear the commercials for iceberg rum, made with icebergs off the Labrador coast to your table. So that's something to look for. And a piece of trivia, did you know that when television first came on, there used to be a Channel 1, but because of the E-skip problem, the stations complained about being on that frequency, so they dropped Channel 1, and that's why the VHF started with Channel 2, but you still got skip from Channels 2 all the way up to Channel 6. And when there was action on Channel 6, then I would go to the FM band, and sure enough, I would be getting FM stations from all over the place. So that's kind of interesting. I hope I didn't bore anybody out there.
Okay, I know that when you're talking about the space weather anyway, the sun has been very, very active as of late. So, and I know that really screws things up with like for the ham radio operators.
Yes, one of my ham friends was complaining about poor propagation, and he said, "Don't expect any good AM reception because of what's going on now." But have you gotten any stations yet since you've are on? I can't think of that satellite system, Westwood One.
No,
are you getting any AM?
No, we
stations?
haven't got to that yet. No, we've got the equipment here. I'll actually have a delay button, aka a dump button, for somebody who tries to slip an F-bomb in or something. And yeah, we've got what they call the Comrex, which will be the link up to the terrestrial stations. But no, we're not up on TMN yet.
Okay. But I'm keeping my fingers crossed that you'll get on a station that I can pick up and I can hear your show. And when my best girl moves in, she can put it on podcast. Find the podcast.
Sure.
And I'm going to get Alexa sometime this year, and I can tell Alexa to play your show so I can hear it whenever I want to. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yep. Alexa, activate the Steve Sommers overnight drive. I think something like that's what you got to tell her.
Right, exactly. And I called Gilligan yesterday to give him my condolences. Chevy guy called me yesterday along with, I can't think of the guy's name at the moment, but they told me what happened. So I called him and talked to him for about maybe 10 minutes, and he was really thankful for that.
Well, that's good.
So that's all the baloney I got for tonight.
All right. Speaking of which, we haven't heard from our Bologna guy this last couple of nights. Where is the old knuckle buster? He had no Bologna. Real quickly, I'm from spaceweather.com. Solar activity intensifying. In the last 24 hours alone, it says, the sun has produced more than 19 solar flares. The total includes 5 M-class explosions and a powerful X 2.2 class flare. That's a monster. And is likely to continue as this colossal sunspot, AR 2993-94, turns toward the Earth in the days ahead. As far as the sun just produced another, I guess they just posted this here a short time ago, another X flare. Earth orbiting satellites detected an X 2.2 on April 20th. That's today. Remarkably, it came from a far side sunspot. The source of the flare, AR 2992, which yesterday rotated over the southwestern limb of the sun. That particular sunspot is no longer visible at all. It's hidden by the edge of the solar disk. Because the blast site was eclipsed, the actual flare was almost certainly stronger than that rating of an X 2.2. But that's a big boy. With that, though, we get a news break here, the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive, live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios.
USA Radio News.
The Biden administration announced changes to federal student loan repayment plans. Officials said the changes will make it easier for millions of borrowers to have their debts forgiven after being required to pay for up to 25 years. Democrats and consumer groups have been calling on the Biden administration to enact such a policy in recent months. U.S. stocks and government bond yields rose Tuesday. Investors parsed the latest round of earnings reports for signs that corporate profits are holding up despite inflation. The Wall Street Journal reports analysts expect profits from big U.S. companies to keep growing this year, even as costs rise. And more black families are choosing homeschooling as an option to educate their children, according to a U.S. Census Bureau survey. You're listening to USA Radio News.
You clean everything else in your house, why don't you clean the air? It's easy to do with an Eden Pure Thunderstorm air purifier. They're under $200 for a 3-pack. You can put one in the kitchen, you can put one in the living room, you can put one in that room that you always flush. Go to EdenPureDeals.com, put in my promo code CLASSIC3, and you'll save $200. EdenPureDeals.com, discount code CLASSIC3, and you'll also get free shipping.
Bingo fun fact number 6. Americans spend over $90 million weekly on bingo. Why? When you can play Bingo Treasure for free. Go to BingoRadioUSA.com. Play from any device, your smartphone, tablet, or computer. The account is free. The play is free. Play one card. Play more. Chat with other players. Meet new friends. All free at BingoRadioUSA.com. That's BingoRadioUSA.com. Bingo from any device. Hurry. Free accounts are limited.
You're listening to the Overnight Drive with Steve Sommers.
Drivers, you demand that your equipment's reliable and dependable, and that also applies to your headset for communication. Well, our friends at Stellar Electronic have you covered. The Pluto Duo headset bundle is the best communication headset you can find in the industry. No matter the challenging environment you're driving in, the Pluto headset will make you sound crystal clear all the time thanks to their 99% noise cancellation. And the Duo's not only a stereo converter for the headset, but also a power bank so you can charge as you go. Learn more at StellarElectronic.com or visit them on Facebook.
Do you have a Dodge pickup and hate your automatic transmission? Of course you do. Levon Miller at Firepunk Diesel here, and we specialize in heavy-duty and performance transmissions for your 3/4 or 1-ton Cummins-powered truck. So if you're interested in turning your stock slush box into a towing monster, call us today at 614-733-3744 or visit us online at shop.firepunk.com.
It's coming. Crisp fall mornings turn bitter cold. As you fire up your diesel, you can see your breath on the inside of the cab. Imagine looking deep into your engine. Freezing temperatures impact your diesel's fluids, especially fuel. On a 23-degree morning, the paraffin wax in your untreated fuel starts to morph from fluid to large crystals. These crystals clump together and form a gel. At minus 10 degrees, your fuel hits the point where it no longer pours like a liquid. It's so dense that the flow through the fuel filter will slow, causing hard starts or no starts. Get prepared now for the cold that is coming. Hot Shot's Secret Diesel Winter Anti-Gel is a premium fuel additive that lowers your fuel's pour point to minus 65 degrees. If it's that cold out, you shouldn't be on the road. You ought to be at home in front of the fireplace. Hot Shot's Secret Diesel Winter Anti-Gel Premium Fuel Additive. Available now online at HotShotSecret.com. Hot Shot Secret. Powered by science.
Attention all truckers, Dean Michael, the tax doctor here. I want to talk to you about those dreaded tax problems. I know you want to keep on trucking and not even think about them. Well, let's face it, they're not going away all on their own. You need professional help. I've been helping truckers put their tax problems in the rearview mirror for years. I can help you too. Call me for a free consultation at 888-632-4506 or go to mytaxhelpmd.com. It's like I always say, keep your eyes on the road, I'll keep mine on the IRS. 888-632-4506.
After a long winter road trip, there's nothing like coming home to a warm, comfortable home. Hi, I'm Steve with USA Insulation. When we put our foam in your walls, it's like putting a coat around your entire home. It keeps the cold air out and the warm air in. We're getting homes ready right now for winter, and we have $1,000 savings for everyone. But because we love our truckers, we're going to give you an additional $250 discount for mentioning the show. 1-800-USA-FOAM or USAinsulation.net.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute?
When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
And now, back to the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive, live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios.
Okay, here we go. Are you ready? Here's your keyword. Keyword, time for that chance at $1,000 cash and a shot at the $10,000 grand prize. Second keyword here on the Overnight Drive this Wednesday morning. Splurge. Can you spell that? Splurge. Go ahead and splurge on it. S-P-L-U-R-G-E. You know, big spending. Go ahead, splurge. Go to tncradio.live on the web, tncradio.live on the smartphone, the app, as they call it, and enter your keyword. Click on the contest, enter your keyword, and there's your entry. That's keyword number 2 here on a Wednesday morning. Oh, real quick, if you missed our first keyword, it was bake, like bake a cake. There you go. 2 for the price of 1. Get those entered. All right, with that, it is Scarecrow on the line. Morning, Scarecrow. What's happening?
Free education, Steve. Free education. Brought that up 6 months back. I said, they're going to be beating that drum again. That's going to come around. And sure enough, here it is. I've been kind of waiting for this. I wanted to share a couple scenarios that they've played out in our household, and there's no reason they can't be followed in other households across the country. To begin with, our high schools are so failing in preparing kids for young adults, entering into the real world outside of primary schooling and such. Wasn't it last night you said there's a class or something on how to change a tire?
Yes, real life skills, teaching like high schoolers how to actually fill out a checkbook, how to handle money, how to change a tire. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. I think my mom had said our local paper had a story like that just last weekend about, the younger adults, they need to be alongside their parents when they're paying monthly bills and, financial transactions and whatnot, just to see where, the funds and whatnot go, within the household. And, they're so indoctrinated, in school today, and they're put in this mindset where it's got to be a high-tech post-high school education. It's got to be very techy and whatnot. Mm-hmm. They've lost sight of the fact that there's a whole world of hands-on, good-paying jobs out there. Carpentry, electricians, plumbing, heavy equipment operators, things like that. It doesn't have to be something that this individual is going to sit in front of a desk with a screen in front of them and a typewriter key, a less than glamorous position like that, where you're not going to get any dirt under your fingernails. That's what they're all led to believe is their future. No, there's far more, out there. Now, I'll give you the 2 scenarios I'm referring to. Now, our eldest, he's a pilot, and this started way back, before high school. He knew he wanted to fly. So, one of the academies, it'd be Naval or Air Force. He chose, it was targeted Air Force, but so he targeted every single high school class he had an option with. He targeted heavy in math, heavy in science, and all through high school. That's where his studies, carried him. And there was a time, the service academies took only probably the top 2 or 3 out of a given class. It's not so much the case today. They want a well-rounded individual, good in education, but also in sports. They're going to look at his at-home activities, maybe what his job might be, after school, weekends or such. They want a well-rounded individual. And I'm not just pumping Air Force, whether it's, Navy or, Army, whatever, Coast Guard, they're all, you get a fine education and it's beyond the education. You become a respected adult and you've got a future. As I say, he, for what he got out of it, there's commitment. You have to pay back, serve so many years. And in his case, well, it's going to be minimum of 24 years, but that is his choice. It totally pissed us off during parent orientation when we were out there X number of years, back in 2004, I guess. Two moms stood up. All they were concerned about is how quick they could get their son or daughter out of the Air Force. All they were in it for was a free education. They had, they had no intent, and I'm sure they were pushing their, student,
sure,
to pursue, an Air Force, graduation. And that's not to say that student even was interested. I'm guessing they were forced by, the parents. But either way, that's played out well, for Brandon. Now,
and Scarecrow, I think he lost his cell, just like flipping a light switch. Boom. And he was gone. All right, thanks for checking in, though, Scarecrow. It's 844-844-3388. I guess your ears must have been burning. What's going on, Knuckle Buster? And maybe not. His ears may not have been burning, and maybe the phones just cut him off. Bet it's one of those deals. All right, we'll get a quick chime out here. The Steve Sommers Overnight Drive live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios.
Live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios, the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive.
Dean Michael, the tax doctor here. Are you one of those truck drivers that came home after a long haul and found the only thing waiting for you was a stack of IRS letters? Your significant other was gone, but your newfound IRS problem is still there. I've heard this story many times over the years. While I can't help you with your broken heart, I can fix your tax problems. If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or haven't filed for many years, call me for a free consultation at 888-557-4020 or go to mytaxhelpmd.com. Like I always say, you keep your eyes on the road, I'll keep mine on the IRS.
145 over 92.
180 over 111.
I had a heart
You
attack
are now in
and
the host
cardiac
room.
arrest and then a stroke.
Your blood pressure numbers could change your life. Lowering your high blood pressure could save you from a heart attack or stroke. If you've stopped your treatment plan, restart it or talk to your doctor about creating one that works better for you. Start taking the right steps at manageyourbp.org.
Now I'm, trying to get better, stronger than ever.
Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems. For example,
stiction.
Found throughout the oil system, stiction is the sticky friction that negatively impacts your engine's ability to function at an optimal level. The molecular structure of oil is a hydrocarbon. The engine's extreme heat, tight tolerances, and high pressure cause the oil to break down and release hydrogen, leaving behind varnish, a carbon-based deposit. The varnish clings to the engine's moving parts, creating drag on the turbocharger, oil pump, and pistons. Symptoms of stiction include a rough idle and the loss of fuel economy and performance. Hot Shot Secret Stiction Eliminator delivers a 98% clean rating in third-party scrub tests. Its synthetic cleaner plus nano lubricant contains no harmful solvents and is formulated to be left in the engine to safely dissolve stiction for thousands of miles. It works as you drive.
Stiction Eliminator is available at truck stops, Tractor Supply, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret. Powered by science.
Because Channel 19's a little congested. Call Steve now at 844-844-3388. The Overnight Drive.
A motorsport approaches the century mark. From dead weight, first a small step and then a great leap forward. And what is tractor pulling anyway? From National Tractor Pullers Association headquarters in Columbus, Ohio, this is the NTPA Overnight Radio Report. Tractor pulling is a sport that has been around in one form or another for close to 100 years, as the first documented contests took place in Missouri and Ohio in 1929. Even when steam and oil-powered traction farm machines were in their infancy, farmers of the era competed against each other to determine whose tractor was the most powerful. From primitive drawbar to drawbar tugs of war, the contests evolved into deadweight pulling competitions over short spans, much like team horse pulls, and these continue to be held by many antique and stock pulling clubs to the present day. Even though the metric to decide a winner has always been distance, the desire for a spectator-friendly exhibition meant that speed would necessarily become involved. So pulls were soon conducted on long, straight tracks, along which each tractor would, one at a time, pull a flat sled. Participants, positioned along both sides of the track, would step on as the sled skidded past. These Western-style competitions began to draw serious fan interest and also led to a ramping up of horsepower and velocity from what were initially stock tractors. As tractors cemented their place on the farm, aftermarket industries developed that allowed farmers to get power far in excess of their tractor's factory rating, and these rebuild kits naturally made their way into pulling competitions. Soon, the velocities were too great to safely continue with a human ballast step-on sleds, and that ushered in the era of the mechanical weight transfer, beginning in the mid-1960s. Designs varied, but a common principle was the shifting of a propelled weighted box from atop an axle to atop a flat pan, in the process converting rolling, mostly frictionless weight, to dragging frictional weight. These versatile machines allowed even the smallest or lightest tractors to start the load and simultaneously stopped even the largest or heaviest tractors within a few hundred feet of track. With both the safety and consistency of the contests now established, vehicles began to be adapted or constructed specifically to compete, and the sport of tractor pulling really took off with nationally advertised events. The first national tractor pull was conducted at the Wood County Fairgrounds in Bowling Green, Ohio in August of 1967. While in Bowling Green, pullers decided that they should have a wintertime event, and thus was born the National Farm Machinery Show Championship Tractor Pull in Louisville, Kentucky in February 1969. And while in Louisville, competitors met to decide on a national set of rules and began to organize a governing structure. So arrived the National Tractor Pullers Association with 10 charter member states and an office in Upper Sandusky, Ohio. All three of these entities remain in existence in furtherance of the motorsport of tractor and later truck pulling, but none of their founders could have imagined how the sport would develop and diversify over the next 50 years. Next time, we'll take a brief look at the types of vehicles you're likely to see at an NTPA event. Between now and then, check out our schedule page at ntpapull.com to find out where you can witness these awesome machines yourself. As we're fond of saying at the NTPA, you really can hear the power and feel the noise. Reporting for the NTPA on the Overnight Drive, I'm John Dunlap. Stay safe and pull hard.
Thank you so much, John Dunlap. There you go. All right, we left off there, mid-conversation. Scarecrow, hey there.
Okay, Steve, I'll race through this so somebody else can get in the tail end here. Our youngest boy there, and we're equally proud of both of the way our kids have turned out and their successes, and much like most other parents are. What I am not proud of is the fact that we never did establish a college fund for either of the boys. So when it come to the college education, both Josh and his mom, they sought out the loans, secured the financing and such. Josh worked jobs on the side through college. He picked out an education that there's a demand for. I think it was mechanical engineering or such, unlike underwater basket weaving or such.
Mm-hmm.
But, who knows what the future would lead to, But he also, did 6 years with the Wisconsin Air National Guard. Now that, I believe, paid for his master's and somewhat some of his bachelor, also. He did a couple tours over in the sand anyway. I forget where he was at, but so he did it on his own. You don't need tons of government help and such. He was fortunate to land a decent job right out of college. He married a wonderful girl who She's an optometrist, by the way. So they were able to make ends meet with his job. She paid off $180,000 student loan in 2.5 years. There's ways to do it out there. You don't have to fall back on a helping hand, without any thank yous in the end of it, so to speak. So with that, that's really what I wanted to get across, Steve. That it don't have to be the high tech jobs, but if individuals would look at a future that there's going to be a demand for, and not just a feel good job. You got to be realistic about things too. That's all I got for now.
Thank you much. All right, Scarecrow, good to have you with us. About 9 before the hour. Hello to Double R, checking in this morning. Wishing everybody a good day. There's the Day Dweller. Morning, Steve, and the Overnight Drive crew checking in here. 37 tropical degrees here in Mason, Ohio this morning. And let's see, Gary said, what happened to Gilligan's family? It was Sunday evening, I guess it was. Gary, it's actually Gilligan's wife, Mary Ann's son, had been in the hospital, double pneumonia. He was on a ventilator and passed away there on Sunday evening again, I believe it was. Now, I was off Monday. Maybe it was Monday evening, because right there that when I came back Monday into Tuesday is when he had passed away. So I think it was Monday evening. All right, let me see here. Next up, let's try again. Yes, Knucklebuster, what's going on?
Morning, Mr. Steve Summers. Same old thing, different day. Just riding down the highway with a big old smile on my face. Right?
There you go.
Yeah, it was good to hear Mr. Tom Bigby in there. So, your producer was being funny as hell this morning. He told me, "We're sorry, but the show has ended," and then hung up on me. Yeah. Well, anyway, I got some conspiracy for you, Steve. All right, let me see if I can get it up here. Right.
Okay.
Well, so much for all that. Well, I was talking about Chris Rock, that slap. He just come up with his bouncing. Well, anyway, I'll do it tomorrow morning. Ain't no big deal. So, anyway, it's just been a strange week. Got my daughter. She's buying a new house. So it ain't a new house. It's a fixer-upper. So
yeah.
Who's going to be doing the fixing up in, right?
They're going to be asking, Knucklebuster for some tips.
Well, shoot, man, I'm going to tell you, I've been so busy lately, I ain't had time to even breathe on the weekends trying to finish up what I had going on so I could get started on hers. But anyway, she closes this week. So anyway, we'll see if I can't get back to calling in more at night there. So kind of keep everybody awake or put them to sleep one. I don't know. Anyway, that's all I'm out bull on it for right now. So have yourself a good morning. Let's wind this old truck driving radio on down the road. Keep Steve Summers Overnight Drive radio going. Buy some Hot Shot Secret. Don't forget to put Overnight Drive code in the checkout box there. And buy some Steve Summers products too. T-shirts, baseball cap, travel mugs, and Steve, a lot of people don't know this, but I love them female hooters. So, especially you women buy them T-shirts there, and that's all my bull on it for right now.
I don't think there's anyone that doesn't know that, Knucklebuster. That's been made abundantly clear. Has it not? Hey, Chevy guy.
Yeah, real quick. Made mention that Scarecrow says, fighting to get them into the good schools, the military. I just want to report that on Facebook, I had a news feed because I click on Navy stuff, had a news feed come in, and it was somebody from the Annapolis school, and they were talking about Black Lives Matter at the time and how, you know, they should be concerned for the issues of the black sailors, and they did interviews back and forth. You know, not one time did I hear them talk about the facts that was going on the ground at the time, like wrap them up in a blanket and fry them like bacon, about their plain out statement that overturned the government. And basically it's a treasonous organization. And of course it was way ahead of the time to find out that they were buying $1 million mansions out in California. By the way, you know, they're going to have a lot of money for those mansions to pay the taxes for them places. And then also for West Point. I sat there, and that was through Prager University. This teacher at West Point was teaching history, and he went through it was best, a 6th grade education through the Civil War, indicating that the people that legally succeeded from the Union were traitors. And I'm sorry, no, they're not traitors. They legally succeeded from them, and they did not commit treason, because at no time was Abraham Lincoln at threat from the people of the South, and the remaining Unionists were still there. So the American government was never under a threat, and America wasn't at war at the time, so they weren't giving aid or comfort to the enemy. And I just went down and then mentioned the crimes that was committed through Sherman and coming down. It's considered today war crimes. And, you know, absolutely nothing. I got a bunch of likes. I got a couple angry faces. The only thing that ever come back on that was, "You are so out of touch." Okay. And I mean, it must have been one of his students. I mean, I'm just a trucker. This guy's teaching our military. Is there any wonder our generals are what they are, or admirals are what they are? By the way, U.S. Navy, where's my 2 gunboats? You know, 2 gunboats was taken.
You know,
I was under Trump.
Normally, PragerU is pretty darn good about. I've never think anything I've had an issue with them. All right, Chevy guy, got to roll. We got to close it out here on a Wednesday. Thanks for hanging out with us. Stick around. TNCRadio.live. Coming up next, it'll be the truck stuntman Mike Ryan, supposed to have run yesterday morning, had some technical issues. But yeah, Tom and Shelley on the Truckers Network radio show will be interviewing Mike Ryan coming up next. And we'll see you back at the midnight hour tonight, and we'll do it all over again, right? Have a safe day. Thanks for being with us. The Steve Sommers Overnight Drive live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios.
You'll never guess the places that I've been. You never guess the places that I've been. 'Cause everything is like a dream, yeah, but only in that dream that I live in. I'm never gonna let the day begin. Never gonna let the day begin. 'Cause everything is like a dream, yeah, but only in that dream that I live in. Oh, don't wake me up before you go, and I'll just make this bed my own. Oh, darling, please just let me sleep. Give me my dreams. it's better from above. Nothing's ever as it seems, yeah, except in that world that I dream of. Never gonna lose the ones I love. Never gonna lose the ones I love. 'Cause everything is like a dream, yeah, but